Damn, you are happy, Slick Vic.
It's good to be back, baby.
Oh, it is good to be back. We didn't think we would make it, but here we are.
Through hellfire and brimstone.
Yeah, we're very screwed up on Twitch right now. By the way, let me fix this real quick, Vic. While we're give us an intro, Vic. We've been away for a little while. Why don't you lead us in while I adjust this?
All right, folks, welcome back to another solid, liquid, and solidus episode of Wrestling with Power. I am
like
your
that.
host, Slick
good.
Vic. Along with me is the distinguished, the honorable, the great
Mr. Mosley. Yeah, all right.
Mr. Mosley, how are you doing on this lovely evening?
I'm doing fantastic, Slick Vic. As a matter of fact, I'm glad to be back. Glad that we finally made it. This is actually Tuesday, November the 25th. We are live right now on Twitch, if I can get it looking right. And normally we do these shows, obviously, and we've said in the past, and you guys know, you know how it is. We do these shows on Thursdays. That didn't really work out. So basically, it kept rolling over every day. It was like, all right, well, we'll do it Friday. Okay, well, that didn't work. We'll do it Saturday. All right, that didn't work Sunday. So anyway, we're here. It's Tuesday. We're officially 2 days away from Thanksgiving. And the good news is that means that we have a hell of a show today. We are going to be doing the reviews that we were planning on doing before, which is the November 14th and November 17th episodes, respectively, of Raw and SmackDown. So I am aware that there has been a Raw and SmackDown since then. But as I said, we had planned for this show to go on Thursday, and so that's what we're going to be reviewing. And we're also going to be reviewing, in our second ever retro review, Survivor Series 1990. We did watch that gem of a show. And we're also going to be packing in Slick Vic's picks tonight for Survivor Series this year. Because we're not going to be doing a show this week, other than tonight, obviously. We're not going to be doing a show this week. We're going to take the holiday off and spend time with the fam and all that stuff. And hopefully all of our listeners out there will be doing the same. Also, we're going to be doing This Day in Wrestling History. And Slick Vic prepared This Day in Wrestling History for us on November the 20th, which was Thursday, which we had originally planned on doing. But since we didn't, and here we are on the 25th, we're going to be doubling down, and we're going to be doing the 20th of November, This Day in Wrestling History, and the 25th of November, This Day in Wrestling History. So we got a lot of things to talk about. Vic, I don't know if I've got this. I've got it looking okay, but I don't know if it's exactly right. Why don't you go ahead and talk about your gimmick there, and I'll continue to work on this. We'll go ahead and get the gimmick out of the way. I'm not forgetting about it this time. Slick Vic, what do you got for us today here?
Well, today I got somebody who's pretty damn iconic, created by Toho back in the 1950s. King of the Big Five, also known as Big G. Nuclear powered. 300 feet tall. The monster gigantus to rule them all. Listen to this.
I didn't hear anything. Oh, there it goes.
Sorry, he didn't talk into the mic. He talked into the camera. He doesn't know these things.
All right.
He just wants to break shit. He's looking at this camera and wants to just, tear it up. See this mic? He wants to eat it. Whack it with his tail.
He's just trying to get over.
Are you a Godzilla fan?
I am, and I've found in recent years. Which movie did you say that was from? Specifically, is that minus one?
Is this from a specific Godzilla movie? I'm not entirely sure. I was when I gave the introduction, I was actually quoting lyrics to a song called Gojira by Grail Knights.
Oh, okay.
Not to be confused with the band Gojira. I'm talking about the band Grail Knights. They have a song called Gojira.
Hey, speaking of the band Gojira, did you see their fucking Olympic performance from a few years ago?
Hell yeah.
Dude, how awesome was that?
Badass. Badass. One of the
Oh
most,
my
one of
God.
the most badass metal concert performances ever, man. Awesome.
Great. I think I got it squared away here, Vic. So you've got Godzilla, you've got the crystal ball over there. I know it's been speaking to you here lately. I'm interested to hear what it's been telling you. You asked me if I had liked Godzilla, though, and I want to answer your question. In recent years, I've found that I like the Japanese Godzilla movies a lot more than the American ones, to the point where I don't even really want to watch the American Godzilla movies anymore. Like, I haven't watched the last Godzilla versus Kong movie because I just don't care. But, like, I went and watched -1 in theaters when it was in Japanese and, subtitles, which was really weird, but it was great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I saw that in the theater too. It was good stuff. I'm so glad they even won awards.
yeah.
Like that one like best special effects. Fantastic, man. Godzilla -1. Now they announced, I don't know if you heard, they announced Godzilla -0.
It's like 0. It's like -1 or something, or is it -0.0 or something weird like that?
I think it's just -0, which mathematically
Yeah, but the
doesn't make a
logo
lot of sense.
looked weird. I remember it was like there was a decimal point in there or something.
I've been meaning to watch Shin Godzilla since you mentioned you're a big fan of the Japanese.
Oh yeah, Shin Godzilla is fantastic.
Okay.
I own that movie. I've watched it several times. It's a really different Godzilla movie. It's like Godzilla is actually, I don't know how to explain it, man. Godzilla is less cartoonish. I don't know if that's a good word.
Hey, and Godzilla -1, he was downright terrifying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But in -1, he still looked like Godzilla. Like he looked like he looked like he was kind of smart, if that makes sense. In Shin Godzilla, he doesn't look like he's smart. He just looks like this creature, but he behaves like he's incredibly smart. It's friggin' crazy to watch because he evolves every time they like hurt him, or like ever so often he'll evolve and adapt to do something different. It's wild. It's a great movie. You should watch it.
I definitely will. I have it. I have it on my shelf. My wife has has hard copies of every Godzilla movie, like literally every single Godzilla movie. Earlier this year, they released Godzilla versus Biollante, which was for the longest time out of print or just not locally available. I don't know the exact story, but it came out on Blu-ray, and she bought it on day one.
Day one-ish.
Yeah.
There's like an anime.
No, it's I believe it's like a 70s or 80s. I'm just going to quickly do a quick Google search while I type in Godzilla.
Oh, it's one of those older. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Biollante from 1989. Okay. Yeah, for whatever reason, it was largely unavailable, especially in the U.S.
Weird.
But they released the Blu-ray this year, and we snagged it.
Nice.
But you mentioned Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
So I did see both of those movies, and I thought the first one was okay. Second one, if you like dumb fun, it's right up your alley. And sometimes I do, but at the same time, I don't know if I want Godzilla and Kong to be dumb fun.
Yeah. I don't take American Godzilla very seriously. It's hard. It's like it's the non-canon version of Godzilla or something to me.
Yeah. That last one though, Godzilla, Kong, I forgot the subtitle. The second one, it was like it felt like a Transformers.
I think it was like the New Empire or something like that.
It felt like a Transformers movie to me.
Yeah, it looked like a Transformers movie from the trailers and stuff.
Yeah, there's even a scene where like Kong has like a metallic arm that he he winds up and hits the heels with.
Oh man, the loaded arm, the loaded glove.
Yeah. He's got the coal miner's glove.
Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love some Godzilla. But you know what we also love here on Wrestling with Power? We love wrestling.
We
So
love wrestling.
we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we'll try not to keep you here all night, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, we do got a big show. Can't wait to get to the retro review. But before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and get the modern day crap out of the way and talk about SmackDown this past week. This will be SmackDown from the 14th, and our good buddy here, Slick Vic, is going to present that to us.
All right.
Take it away.
Thank you so much for sticking around with us, for indulging us as we talk about non-wrestling related stuff like Godzilla.
We can do it all day.
But we do love wrestling here, So if it's all right, we're going to talk a little bit about wrestling right now.
Yeah, if it's all right with you guys.
Yeah. So, SmackDown, November 14th from Albany, New York. The show opens with, "This is my brutality." Mosley, did you find the brutalities hard to hit in Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 trilogy?
What a segue.
I said we would talk about wrestling, but
No, and I'm glad you mentioned it because I could never do a brutality ever. I've never been able to do it my entire life until now with the Legacy Collection because you can do the fatality training.
Yes.
And now I can do Human Smoke, Noob Saibot in Trilogy. Noob Saibot, and I think Scorpions. I can do all their brutalities now. And it's awesome. It's like, learning a new trick for something that you've been playing for 30 years.
Absolutely. All right. But yeah, I too also struggled with brutalities until the Legacy Collection.
Yeah, I never could figure it out. Yeah.
All right, so as I mentioned, we got Rhea Ripley's music hits, and here she is, along with Io Sky. Rhea still has the protective mask for her broken nose. Rhea talks about how the Kabuki Warriors, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend are untouchable because they have the numbers. Io Sky shouts War Games. Rhea introduces Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. And at first, it's a big hug fest, except that Charlotte and Rhea aren't having anything to do with it, or at least not having anything to do with each other. Alexa says they're the ones who started this, and they're the ones who are going to end it. But Charlotte says she doesn't like or trust Rhea. She thinks she's a snake. Like naked snake? Solid snake? Venom snake? Sorry. I digress. We love video games here, ladies and gentlemen. Especially references. Anyways, Charlotte says, "Count me out," and leaves. Alexa tries to talk her back in, but nobody else seems to care. Well, I liked how they acknowledged the history between Charlotte and Rhea. I bet if Vince was still in charge, he'd be like, nobody remembers that shit. I think it's obvious right away that Charlotte is going to join the team because they're just killing time until Survivor Series. But I'm all right. I'm all right with the drama. I'm here for some infighting. Spoiler alert: next week, Charlotte does join the team.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on this build-up towards the women's War Games match with the babyfaces?
I didn't like it. I thought it was very blah for the exact reason that you just gave. It's killing time to get there. And I know that we're going to kill some time in these shows getting to the big events, right? It's like it's been planned. Okay, now what do we do in between times? But this is silly. She's going to join the team. Why do this? She comes out and she says she's not going to join, but like she's totally going to join. So I didn't like it, man. I thought I don't know. I just thought it didn't. It could have. It's a fart in the wind. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
I just thought right now, like if they had teased somebody else joining, it might have actually made it a little more palatable.
Yeah,
And just okay, we know Charlotte is going to join the team. It's just killing time.
Yeah,
like
because nothing happened after that throughout the rest of the show where they could have teased something like maybe somebody shows up and it's somebody that they don't trust very well, but they don't have a fifth member, so they're thinking about it. Something like that would have been good.
Yeah. Well, all right, so we have a match now with Jey Uso versus The Miz. Now, this is not for the Last Time Is Now tournament. No, it's not.
I think it
So,
is it?
God damn. Yeah, it is. I'm sorry.
This is a round one
Yeah.
match,
I
and the last time
apologize.
is now.
I do have it written here. I just overlooked it for whatever fucking reason. Never mind. Miz hits Jay with a kitchen sink knee in the early of the match. Man, couldn't wait to say that one. You remember playing WCW versus NWO Revenge or any of those games? There was the kitchen sink knee.
Yeah.
Anyways, Miz goes for the skull crushing finale early, but Jay counters and clotheslines the Miz over the top rope, followed by a dive to the ropes. And we go to break. We come back, and Miz is on offense. He hits a corner code breaker and a high angle DDT. Then Miz hits the it kicks, which gets the crowd yelling yes. Jay hits a back suplex into a neck breaker. Miz comes back and hits John Cena's shoulder tackles and a 5-knuckle shuffle. He hits it, by the way, too. But Jay kicks out at 2. Miz tries a second rope skull crushing finale, but Jay counters, hits a Samoan drop guillotine type move, which looked a little weird, but the commentators played it off like this was devastating. A spear and a splash. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Thoughts? Decent. Hell of a hand, that Miz. I put it slightly above run of the mill. It's nothing crazy, but solid TV wrestling. And I liked the Cena tribute stuff from the Miz. Match was overall fine. No major complaints, but nothing really special. How did you feel about this match, Mr. Mosley?
Yeah, I mean, I really couldn't said it better myself, and actually I think you probably gave it more props than I would have, because I'm not the biggest fan of Jey Uso. I've never been the biggest fan of The Miz. I really didn't care how this one went one way or the other, but I kind of wanted to see The Miz win just because I wanted that dynamic to change. Like, Jey Uso's almost the expected winner here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I like when things get shook up, but it's what it is. Decent match for a SmackDown.
Backstage DIY is with Ilya Dragunov and Nick Aldis. Tommaso Ciampa comes in and he was already there. He wants a U.S. title shot and is sick of the word jackass. He calls Ilya Dragunov a muppet who keeps denying him a title opportunity. Ilya says he wants to fight warriors who wrestle with honor, not a jackass. Fraxium walks in. Ilya and Axiom shake hands, which pretty much tells you who's getting the U.S. title shot tonight. And then Nick Aldis walks away and walks by Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed. We go to break, and then we come back, and they're still together. Paul Heyman brandishes a War Games agreement, which means Heyman is allowed to pick any wrestler across all brands. Something Aldis already knew about, but they waived the whole briefcase thing. Not briefcase, the contract sign. It looked like a contract, whatever. It's in one of them leather folds.
It's like a binder, like a folder or something.
Yeah. So anyways, in walks in Cody, who tells Heyman, "You put my friends through the fire, which means I'm next through the flames." I think Cody just referenced the band Dragon Force. I don't know if you heard that song.
I think so, yeah. Oh, yeah. I played the shit out of that on Guitar Hero 3.
He literally said, "You put my friends through the fire, which means I'm next through the flames." So come on. Yeah. I guarantee you Cody was playing Guitar Hero back in the day.
Oh, for sure.
Anyways, Cody adds, "If you're not here to fight, then you should leave." Bronson says he'll fight. Heyman says, "Why not make it for the title?" And Rhodes says, "Nick, book it." And it's official. I think he might have said it a little different than that, but anyways, we have a match. I guess we have a main event now for the world title on a SmackDown. We have Cody Rhodes and Braun Strowman. Does that excite you?
You said Braun Strowman.
Shit.
Man. I was sitting there trying to think that. Yeah, okay, I'm on board with that. Sure, that excites me.
I guess I had a little too much on everything on the menu here.
A little libations never hurt anything. But okay, so to answer your question, Bronson Reed, Cody Rhodes, no, it doesn't excite me, because at this point we kind of know how this one's going to go. We know that Bronson Reed's not going to be winning this championship tonight. I think it's silly that they throw around title opportunities like this. Even though we know he's not going to win, it makes it even sillier that they throw it around, because I mean, look, people go through elimination chamber matches to get shots at this belt. People go through the entirety of the Royal Rumble to get shots at this belt. And he's just going to give it away on a SmackDown to whoever wants. You know what I mean? I don't like that. It's not
How is it?
good. It's not good. It's not good
How-
policy.
But he's a fighting champion, though. He's not
Yeah,
gonna...
fuck that.
Fuck that shit.
I don't like it. I don't like how 1 week we're supposed to believe these championships are so prestigious and high and mighty, and the next week they're just there and they just mean whatever. The freaking Intercontinental Championships mean more than the world titles right now.
All right. Well, so this brings us to the match between Ilya Dragunov and Axiom, which was teased a little earlier. So we start with some solid chain wrestling. And because of Axiom's size, Ilya is able to show off more of his strength. And this has like been a common thing because I think we talked about this last time. Like Ilya is not really a big dude, but he's wrestling dudes smaller than him, which is quite the contrast. And he gets to show off a lot of strength because he is a strong dude. But here he is, muscling up dudes like it's nothing. So it's kind of cool. Corey Graves says that Ilya is so intense that when he shook his head, he almost pulled his arm off. Axiom hits a nice kick that sends Ilya over the top rope. They start fighting on the apron. Well, Axiom is standing on the first rope to, make the slugfest look a little more competitive, I guess. Ilya hits the senton off the top. We go to break and we come back. Dragunov is hitting German suplexes, but Axiom counters into a Northern Lights suplex. And when they get to the feet, Axiom smacks the shit out of Ilya's chest, knocking him down. Axiom hits a top rope missile dropkick for 2. He hits the yes kicks. Not the 8 kicks, the yes kicks. But Ilya comes back with a big boot of his own and attempts the Constantine special. Axiom counters with a rolling armbar, but Ilya powers out. Then Axiom hits this springboard moonsault DDT that looked freaking devastating. I don't know if you caught that one, but it was... I was legit surprised nobody got hurt there. But it's only enough for a 2 count. Axiom hits a top rope Spanish fly, but Ilya immediately gets up and counters the golden ratio into a torpedo Moscow and H-bomb for the win. All right, so my thoughts on this match. It's a nice mix of grappling and high-flying moves from Axiom. I wasn't expecting that. Many straightforward wrestling holds from him. But I was pleasantly surprised. And that DDT, as I mentioned earlier, was fucking insane. It was just like, oh god, I hope nobody died there. But these two put on a heck of a match. Like I just didn't love how abrupt the ending was. Axiom hit like 4 huge moves in a row. Ilya just pops up after that Spanish fly and hits the torpedo Moscow and H-bomb for the win. Not terrible, but it was like really? He got up that quickly? Overall, ending aside, pretty damn good match. Entertaining for sure. I was entertained, as Ilya would say, or Sheamus would say. Anyways, we got a run in here. We got a run in. What did you think of that match? This is Renfield here. Yeah. Any thoughts?
Pretty sure I had a drink named after that cat at your reception.
You did, yeah.
I had actually multiple.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us.
So, all I'm going to say, this was a good technical match. It was good in-ring action. I got curious and looked up what Axiom looks like without his mask on while I was watching the match. That was interesting.
I didn't know such a things existed.
Yeah, he was a wrestler. He wrestled without his mask before, so it's not that secret. But watching this and over the past several weeks, when Ilya Dragunov first won that U.S. title, I was like, hell yeah, like this guy's awesome. Like he's so full of energy and so full of rage, and it's going to be so fun. Like I'm here for it. I'm here to watch this guy's entertain. I'm entertained as well. But I'm already getting to the point to where I'm kind of tired of him. And I don't know if that's a universal feeling or not. Maybe it's because the crowd doesn't really respond to his promos at all. They just kind of, there's crickets. But I don't know what can change that. But there's something there missing, Vic, that I feel we had it whenever Sami Zayn was the champion doing the U.S. Open challenges. Even though we had problems with his matches too, he didn't get to show off his skills enough. We didn't get to see why he was the champion enough in his matches, but he had the history to back that up. With Ilya, I found myself just wanting to see something different, and I feel like I'm not getting that. Do you feel me on that? Do you understand where I'm going with that? Like it's just
his promo work could use a little like anger, a little more aggressiveness, like more of a like Wolverine type
I
like
think
approach.
I think he should be a heel. I think he should just turn heel. Why not? Why not keep doing the US Open challenges? Just come out and say, I can kick everybody's ass. So I'm going to keep doing this, but just be a heel. I think there's not enough good heels in the business right now, like legit good heels, and I think he could be one for sure.
I have not thought of that. I have not considered that, but hey, you know, if it happens, I'd be very interested to see how they go.
I would be more entertained. At this point, it's sort of it was rising, and now it's hit sort of a plateau for me with Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah.
So here's hoping something changes to get me back into it.
Well, moving on. We have a back.
Okay. All right.
What, did you have more to add, or do you want me to? Did you want me another?
No, it's fine. You're just like, well, okay.
Well, anyways,
Tell him, Hawk.
backstage, R-Truth convinces Nick Aldis to put him in the Last Time Is Now tournament. He's got his rubber ball. It's not his rubber balls. His plastic balls with, I guess.
Yeah. He's doing the ball bit again.
Why does he have two of them? Because, like, you know, he wants to put his name in twice.
Maybe R-Truth and Ron Killings.
Actually, that's a solid point there. I was just thinking more
R-Truth and Ron Cena.
Ron Cena. Anyways, in walks Chelsea Green with Alba Fire, or Slay Janae. Chelsea is mad that she didn't get any pyro or celebration after winning the women's U.S. title last week. She wants it next week, and Nick says okay. I don't think we got it this past week either. So
I don't remember seeing it. No, I don't at all.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to do some kind of stupid, bit where they're going to bring sparklers out for her or something,
Maybe this will be a running gag where Chelsea doesn't get her celebration. And then when she finally gets her celebration, she's booked in a match where she loses the title.
Yeah, there you go. That would be good.
Anywho, we have a promo in the ring with Sami Zayn. He says that the first thing he did when he came to SmackDown was beat Solo Sikoa for the U.S. title. And then he got to face John Cena on his last SmackDown. But he's been hurt while the MFT have been attacking his friends. And that ends tonight. He calls out Solo, and out comes Solo, along with the MFT. Solo says Sammy's pathetic. What? A liar. What? Desperate. What? And selfish. He doesn't care about anyone. Solo says he cares about his family and he's going to kick Sammy's ass. Solo then snaps his fingers like Thanos. And the MFT charge the ring, but they don't get in. Solo says he's going to wait for Sammy to get medically cleared before coming for him. Sammy says that he is 100% medically cleared, so go ahead. But Sammy didn't come alone. Here comes the Motor City Machine Guns, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Rey Fenix for a big brawl. So, spoiler. I'm gonna go ahead and we got a segment later on in the night, but fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now because we got a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. We're not gonna review it.
No.
I'll still be watching it with hopefully a smile from ear to ear because.
There you go.
Anyways, do you have anything to say about R-Truth, Chelsea Green, or Sami Zayn and the MFTs?
R-Truth still is not funny. The Chelsea Green bit, like I said, I was waiting on. I want to see that happen, and I wanted to see, some shitty celebration. I thought that would have been great. The MFTs, and I thought the MFT and the Sami Zayn bit was pretty good, where he was like, "I'm 100%," and whatever. Now we can.
I just didn't like the whole fact where Solo's like, oh, I'm going to wait for you to be healed before I kick your ass. That's not a heelish thing to do. Just wait for your good old baby face, your white meat baby face to.
Yeah.
No, you should have kicked his ass right then and there. Sick the wolves on him.
Yeah. You got a point, man. You got a point. But it was okay. It was okay. I've never been the biggest fan of any of these guys. And that's all I have to say about it. I think that if I had some kind of attachment to him, otherwise it would have been good. I'm still pissed that Sami Zayn never turned heel against Karrion Kross. That took me right out of it. That took the piss out of it for me. So now whatever he does, he does. Come on. Come on.
Okay. All right. So now we have our next last time is now match. This time it's LA Knight versus a mystery opponent. And it's woo.
You know it.
Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
Not Matt Cardona.
No.
Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
He's all smiles, and LA Knight is not amused. So Ryder immediately rolls up Knight for a 2 count. And when they get back up, Knight is finally smiling, almost like, okay, all right, fine. After some lockups, Zack throws Knight out of the ring, and we go to break. When we come back, Knight gives Zack a back body drop and hits the jumping neck breaker for a 2 count. Zack counters another back body drop attempt with a face buster, flying forearm, and a corner boot to the face. Corey says it would be humiliating if Knight loses to a guy who plays with toys in his free time. And then Cole says, does he still call himself the internet champion?
Nice.
And LA Knight counters an unprettier into a scorpion death drop. I don't know if you caught that. Knight hit a reverse DDT, which is what they called it. I'm like, nah, fuck that. It's the scorpion death drop.
Yeah.
Ryder, I didn't know they called this the Megastar elbow drop either, where Ryder dodged the Megastar elbow drop and hits the Rough Rider for a 2 count. Knight counters a second rope drop kick from Ryder into a powerbomb and hits the BFT for the win. All right, so while it was fun seeing Zack Ryder back, that's probably the only thing that will be memorable about this whole thing. I'm still putting it slightly above run of the mill because I was pretty engaged seeing Ryder back and hitting his signature moves. And I popped for that Scorpion Death Drop from Knight. Overall, it was enjoyable, but it won't be memorable. What about you, Mr. Mosley? How do you feel about the internet champion being back?
I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. This was like when you're watching the Royal Rumble and you see somebody come out that you haven't seen in forever. It was that same kind of pop for me. And that's why I love the Royal Rumble. When we get these Royal Rumbles that don't have any of that, I think they suck ass. But this was great. Zack Ryder coming back. He's been doing, nobody saw this coming, I don't think. And he's been doing this indie stuff for so many years, and finally he's back. He done a fantastic job. This was he was bigger and more aggressive than I've ever seen him. I was torn on the ending of it because as much as I would have liked Ryder to go over and get that shock win, I don't think that I would have preferred it to happen overnight because I want to see LA Knight win the whole thing personally. He's my guy. But I love this, and I thought the match was great, and they paired well, and it was awesome. It was something fresh, something new, surprising. I think excuse me. I think it will be remembered because of the fact that, Zack Ryder, his history with the WWE and then coming back and having this big moment. I think it will be remembered.
I think the most memorable thing about it was Zack Ryder came out.
Yeah, the fact that he was there, it's going to be remembered regardless of how the match goes. But the match went pretty well. I don't think the match in and of itself is ever going to be looked at as a classic, but just the moment of it happening. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I thought it was awesome.
All right, cool. Backstage, the women's War Games heel team jumps the babyface team, at least the few of them. And then we got a match. We have Jade Cargill versus B-Fab. Well, at least B-Fab got a little flurry in at the start because Jade Jade hit a counter and choke slam, power bomb, another power bomb, and wins the match. Not much to say about this, but I think this was booked pretty much how it should be. I think the point is to make Jade look dominant. So do you want her having 10-minute competitive matches where she's doing a lot of selling, or just wrecking people similar to what Goldberg was doing back in the 90s? Also, speaking of which, I don't know if you caught this. When she left the ring, she talked to the camera and she quoted both Ryback and Goldberg when she said, "Feed me, baby. Who's next?"
Yeah.
Anyways, any thoughts on this match between Jade and B-Fab?
I agree with you completely, and we actually talked about this last week, if you remember. We said, how should this match go? And you said, I think she should crush her. I think she'd just go out and dominate her, and that's exactly what happened. And I'm with you, man. I think she works best as a heel, and she works best in these short matches where her flaws aren't so obvious, and she can just, run through people. So yeah, I thought it went exactly the way it needed to go. Good stuff.
And I got a feeling next week they'll do the same with her and Michin.
Oh yeah. I think so too.
At least
yeah, Michin's not going to be the one to get a leg up on Jade. Somebody will eventually, somebody will, but I don't think it's going to be Michin.
All right, so next week's first round, last time is now tournament matches are announced. We got Carmelo Hayes versus Bronson Reed, and Penta versus Finn Balor. Should we just go ahead and spoil those matches, or?
Sure.
All right, well, Carmelo Hayes went over, and Finn Balor went over Penta. I hope Penta's all right. I don't know if you caught that. Penta, the referee stoppage. So
we're talking about Raw after. Well, we're talking about Raw from yesterday, which would have been the 24th, and Penta coming out of a commercial break. Didn't get to see what happened, and I didn't go back and see any video, and they didn't replay it, so I don't know how he got hurt, but somehow he got hurt in the match with Solo. And
why did I say Finn Balor? I'm sorry. Solo.
Because, well, I don't know. But yeah, he was in a match with Solo yesterday, and after the break, they stopped it, and you could tell something was wrong. I'm pretty sure that Penta was supposed to win that one, because they did not look happy about what was going on, and Solo being the winner of that. But yeah, that's how it all went down. Continue, Vic. Sorry.
No, you're good. Backstage,
Jesus!
Carmelo Hayes says he will see The Miz when he sees him. And then he does some Steiner math saying 100% of him wants to face John Cena. I didn't go over the whole math, but he talked about percentages and shit. I was like, what? Oh, no, whatever. Bronson Reed shows up and says he's going to end Cody Rhodes, then end John Cena after he ends Carmelo Hayes. Pretty good job there by Bronson. I thought that was pretty good. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega have a video package. He wants to put Damian Priest behind him and move to world titles, and now he's everyone's enemy. We'll see. Okay. Bronson Reed and Cody Rhodes for the WWE Heavyweight Champion. It's the world title and the WWE title?
Yeah.
Cody's got the WWE title. All right, well, simple here. Not a lot to say here. This was really short. Both men got their signature moves in quickly before Braun Breaker and Logan Paul jumped Cody and caused a disqualification. Post-match, the Usos come to Cody's aid and hit a 1D on Logan Paul. Drew McIntyre then comes out and attacks the heels. Paul Heyman hands Drew the War Games agreement. He hands Nick Aldis the War Games agreement. And Drew McIntyre is now part of, I wrote Team Vision. Thus ends SmackDown. Any thoughts on the conclusion of this episode of Friday Night SmackDown?
I mean, I liked the fact that they did the swerve to bring Drew into the team. I know that we talked about it on the last show where Drew had been suspended, and you were like, "Okay, I'm okay with that. They can take a break from, him being after Cody and all this stuff." But something just didn't seem right about it. So I like that. I like the swerve, but this was the dumbest booking ever when it comes to, okay, Cody Rhodes versus Bronson Reed. He's giving him a championship title match. His goons come out and cause the disqualification. What the fuck? Why not let him, try to help him win the title? Don't come out and blatantly cause the disqualification. He's got a title match here. This isn't just a run-of-the-mill match. Like, what? Who does that ever? So that took me completely out of it. I thought it was trash. I understand the point they were trying to get to, but it was a road full of potholes getting there. It wasn't good. Wasn't good.
Yeah, I knew going in. Well, pretty much knew that going in. This was going to be more about just setting up the War Games match than actually having a competitive match, and especially when you look at how much time is left in the show.
That's true, but I mean, they could have done that without including the WWE Championship. It was a completely. It didn't need to have. They didn't need to include the title whatsoever, and the fact that they did made their booking look like shit. They should have just left that alone and not included the title. Don't include the title at all. Why couldn't they have said, instead of make it for the championship, why couldn't they have just said make it no disqualification? Just anything else would have been better. Slick Vic.
You bring up a very interesting point there, Mr. Mosley. It's hard to disagree.
You tell me. You've got the crystal ball. You tell me. But, all right. So, fairly decent, okay SmackDown. Couple of memorable moments. Thank you for bringing that to us, Slick Vic. Shall we move on to Monday Night Raw?
Maybe after a short pause for the cause.
Okay, we'll take a pause for the cause, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after this brief commercial break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back from our extensive commercial break that we do not get paid for some Monday Night Raw. This Monday Night Raw that we're going to be reviewing tonight and talking about happened to be on November the 17th. And again, we're coming to you live right now on November the 25th. Obviously, there was a Raw last night. But again, this was planned for this past Thursday, and this would have been the most recent Raw. And after watching yesterday's Raw, who cares? Not a whole lot was going on. So, anyway, last week's Raw was the last Raw for John Cena. Now, I made a mistake, Slick Vic, and I said that on our last episode that the Raw that they did in Boston was the last Raw for John Cena. That wasn't true. This was the last Raw for John Cena on November the 17th of 2025, Madison Square Garden in New York City. And boy, oh boy, what a reaction that John Cena got. He came out to start the show, holds up the Intercontinental Championship. He announces the champ is here. And then he starts to deliver what seems to be just another one of those appreciation promos before being interrupted by the former Intercontinental Champion, Dominic Mysterio. So, can't emphasize enough the pop that John Cena got when he came out in Madison Square Garden. They were singing his song. They were chanting Cena before he even came out. It was crazy. It was a very loud pop. One that you don't hear a lot these days. But anyway, Dom comes out. He challenges Cena to rematch for the Intercontinental Championship, but says not tonight. Dom wants the home field advantage because when Cena won the belt from Dom, it was in Boston. So Dom says, all right, I want the home field advantage. We're going to have the match at Survivor Series, which takes place in San Diego, California, in just under 2 weeks. John Cena agrees, but he says he promised the fans a fight tonight and challenges Dom to a non-title match. That's when we see the Judgment Day members, JD McDonough and Finn Balor, come out to the ring, and the three start to beat down Cena before Sheamus, followed by Rey Mysterio, hit the ring to even the odds. So we got Cena, Sheamus, and Rey clearing the ring. Cena challenges the Judgment Day to a 6-man tag match. A ref comes out, and we're officially into our first match of the night. After a commercial break, that is. So all this leads up to a match starting. We get a big 6-man match. Crowd is hype, and we're immediately into a commercial. Before I get into the match, Slick Vic, I'd like to know your thoughts on this intro to Monday Night Raw.
Like you said, the energy, the intensity, the crowd was just on fire. What's the word?
White hot.
You can cut it with a knife.
Yeah.
Whatever they call that thing. It was super, super hot. And John was super over in Madison Square Garden tonight, which was nice to see. I remember nights, you probably did too, where he was booed mercilessly out of Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that people are realizing now this is literally the last, this is it. This is a big moment, and they're realizing it, and they're getting a chance to live in it, and I think that's good. It's,
like they said, it's hard to imagine for a lot of people, the last 23 years, John Cena was a staple in wrestling.
Yeah. For better or for worse. A lot of people for worse. I was never a big fan of John Cena's. I wasn't.
When I was younger, I did not like him either.
I didn't like him ever. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I grew to appreciate it. Like, I remember around the time he had those matches with AJ Styles, and then he started having some pretty damn good matches around that time as well.
The best that I think that I ever actually enjoyed John Cena, is when he was doing the U.S. Open Challenge. That was my favorite time ever of John Cena's. Now, I respect the fact that he's a living legend and he's done all this stuff, and I get it. I understand. I'm just saying that personally, for me, I was never the biggest fan. I didn't pop when he came out, anything like that, So,
well, let me say, I also liked how Dom is getting drowned out in booze again. This happened last week.
Yeah.
This is classic Dominic Mysterio. I was worried we weren't going to get this anymore, because the reason why he was getting in the first place, because he was with attractive women.
Yeah. The gall of Dominic Mysterio to come out and talk to John Cena like this.
Also, one last thing. I don't know if you watched this live or not, because I rewatched this on like a few days later to gather my thoughts.
Yeah.
The crowd was chanting "Shut the fuck up" to Dominic Mysterio, which John Cena said, "Choco Fun Cup."
Choco Fun Cup. Yeah.
Yeah,
I watched it live. Yeah.
On the replay, you don't hear the "Shut the fuck up" chant, but you still hear the Choco Fun Cup line.
It's so stupid. Oh man. Good stuff though. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get right into the 6-man tag team match. I wasn't very excited about this. I'm not a big fan of these massive multi-man matches. They're hard to follow. So I'm not a big fan. But we got John Cena, Sheamus, Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day members Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Dominic Mysterio. And there's, the Judgment Day beat down Sheamus. They keep him in the corner. Each member of the Judgment Day is tagging in and out in rapid succession. Sheamus hits a double clothesline that gets him out of trouble and tags in Rey Mysterio. Obviously, they're milking the tag to Cena here. This is traditional, blueprint stuff here. They're going to milk the tag to Cena because they know that that's what the people want to see. Ray gets tripped up by Dom as he's going for a 619, and we're into another commercial break. Out of the break, Cena finally gets tagged in, and he hits a 5-knuckle shuffle on JD, but he can't follow through with the AA. Judgment Day get the upper hand again, with McDonough delivering a moonsault, Balor a coup de grace, and Dom with a frog splash. But Sheamus breaks up the pin attempt just in time. So everybody's hitting their finishing move here. You think it's over. Sheamus comes in to save the day. Team Cena hits Stereo beats of the Bowery, followed by Stereo 5-knuckle shuffles. Ray hits a double 619 on McDonough and Balor. Then Cena slams McDonough with an AA for the win. Thought it was a decent match. I'm not a fan of the commercial breaks during matches, especially big matches like this. And I think it's a bit unforgivable, Vic. I know we've complained about the commercial breaks in the past. I know a lot of people have complained about the commercial breaks, but this is just kind of fucking ridiculous, man. This is John Cena's last Raw. His last Raw. The crowd is on fire. Why hit this many commercial breaks during John Cena's match of the night? I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand that. But the ending was a big spot fest, but it made for a good ending for Cena's last match at MSG. This was a spot match. That's all it was, but that's all it needed to be. What did you think of this, Slick Vic?
This was a lot of fun. Everyone got a chance to shine. This was, like a greatest hits type thing. Mm-hmm. And of course, John was the star here. He's the front man. He's the lead singer of the band, so to speak. Judgment Day hit some really good offense too. I loved the spot where JD hits the moonsault, Finn hits the coup de grace, and then Dom hits the frog splash. That was cool. And the 3-way 10 beats of the Balrin was cool. 3-way 5-knuckle shuffle, as you mentioned, was cool. This was just a great crowd-pleasing, fun match. Very entertaining. If this truly is the last Raw match from Cena, it was a fun one. I'm happy with it. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with this one.
All right. Next, we have a backstage segment. We see Paul Heyman, and he's trying to plead his case. He's saying what he did was within the rules and regulations. What we mean by that, picking Drew McIntyre for his team. He basically says, well, wait till you see what I have planned next, and he hands Pierce a contract apparently with the name of the 5th member inside, to which Pierce and Aldis look at it and say, this should be fun. So, setting up a little bit of a reveal later, wink wink, hint hint. And this is where I also noted, we mentioned last week, during last week's show, that the match would be 3-on-3, because we kind of thought that's the way it was going, right? Yeah. We were like, this doesn't seem right, but apparently, because honestly, this Survivor Series was kind of thrown together last minute. They literally had less than 3 weeks left before we started seeing matches roll out for this thing. So, I think we were thinking that, well, it's just going to be 3-on-3 because that's all they could come up with. But apparently, it's not the case. They got Drew on their team. They got a 5th member. Things are starting to come together. In-ring segment, where apparently we're going to get an interview from the Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer, but she gets attacked on the stage by Nikki Bella, who throws the champion very weakly, might I add, into the Tron screen. And Nikki cuts a promo. She says that she didn't come back to be a sidekick, but came back to take back her division, and that Vaquer will be giving her a title shot. I thought that was fucking lame. Nikki done very little to make me think she actually hurt Vaquer here in any way, and the challenge wasn't answered, or we didn't get a win and where, but I guess, who cares? Because Nikki putting over Stephanie means nothing. Who the fuck does Nikki Bella think she is? I mean, seriously. Like, Stephanie Vaquer is light years ahead of her in every conceivable way. Barely knowing English. And she can cut a better promo than Nikki Bella. So who does, whatever. We've talked about this before. It doesn't mean a lot that Nikki puts over anybody. Any thoughts, Vic, on these segments?
Well, I think I whispered it earlier, but yeah, I think it's pretty obvious with their 5th member of the heel men's War Games matches, and that's fine. Cool. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Stephanie Vaquer, and I'm not a fan of Nikki Bella. I've been singing Stephanie's praises and not saying the opposite for Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
So that segment sucked, by the way. That whole segment of Nikki jumping Stephanie was stupid.
Yeah.
I want, yeah. So I'm, not really digging that, but it is what it is, and we'll see if Stephanie can manage to pull out a good match out of Nikki Bella.
I actually did include in my notes, Slick Vic, because I think you and I were talking about this not on the show. This was sort of off the air that we were talking, where I think you asked me, like, well, who would be on the Vision's team? Like, who would join up with them? And I said, well, Drew McIntyre, maybe Brock Lesnar. I remember mentioning those names to you, and you were like, oh yeah, okay. That makes sense. Spoiler alert.
There's been a lot of internet rumor about an altogether different person that was going to join the Vision for the last, this has been the rumor for the last 3 months, 2 or 3 months.
What was that?
It was Austin Theory.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Whatever happened to that whole thing? I guess that was all fake news.
I don't give a shit about Austin Theory, to be honest with you. I don't want to see him. But yeah, I did see that rumor. Might have been interesting.
Well, I guess those were false rumors.
False rumor, spoiler alert. All kinds of spoilers in this this time warp edition of Wrestling with Power. Let's move on to the next match. This is a match in the Last Time Is Now tournament, round 1. Solo Sikoa versus a mystery opponent. And wouldn't you know it, the mystery opponent happens to be Dolph Ziggler. And I popped for this. I was like, yes, this is great. Dolph Ziggler. I was so excited because Dolph, has recently been the TNA champion. He went to TNA. He became their world champion. He had a great run in TNA. And now here he is back in the WWE. He's in the Last Time Is Now tournament. We talked about how the Royal Rumble effect was happening, and I felt that here too. And actually, I didn't know, but me and my girlfriend were sitting here and we were watching wrestling, and they were building up like, who is he going to fight? And I said, Dolph Ziggler. And then it was Dolph Ziggler. So I called that. All right. I get credit for that.
You had your crystal ball out there.
Yeah, crystal ball. Yeah. So the match, Ziggler comes out. He's on fire. He's all over Solo through the early going. He's pulling out all of his old famous moves that we remember him doing, but he can't get any kind of pin going. We go into a commercial break. Back, Solo hits a Samoan drop. He gets a 2 count. Ziggler avoids a barrage of attacks before eventually hitting a zigzag, but he only gets a 2 count out of that. Ziggler starts tuning up the band. He hits a super kick on Solo, but Solo just basically shakes it off and answers with a home run Samoan spike for the win. He drew back from California on that Samoan spike, man. And I was not a fan of this ending at all. I would have rather Tala got involved and cost Ziggler the match than him losing clean to Solo. Literally the guy who, like I mentioned, was white hot in TNA. He was the world champion for a long run. Comes back to a huge pop and goes down clean to Solo Sikoa. Good match. Solid choice for a mystery opponent, but sorry ass ending. Bro, that was my notes. What did you think of this match, Vic?
Well, like Zack Ryder, it was nice seeing Dolph again. Dolph still moves crisp and is fast. The crowd was really alive for this match too. Big time crowd for this match. They loved Ziggler. But I'm not a fan of matches where one wrestler gets beat up the whole time, then suddenly lands a few big moves at the end and wins. In this case, it was Dolph Ziggler was on offense for 90% of the match, and then Solo hits a spike and wins. Yeah. Which is exactly what happened here. So that brings the whole thing down a few notches for me, man. So, it's like I said, Dolph looked great. He was fun to watch. And yeah, no, I agree with you. The ending sucked. that ending really was a downer for me. It really did bring my enjoyment, my rating, my grade for this match down a whole bunch of notches. And I am still waiting for the inevitable. Well, I don't know if it's inevitable now. There's one mystery opponent left, but I'm still waiting for the Joe Hendry appearance.
Yeah. Yep. Hasn't happened yet. We'll have to see what happens next.
Right.
Well, next on Raw, there's a segment in ring with Alexa Bliss, and she wants to tell us how her weekend went. She says Charlotte has been ignoring her calls and texts. She rants for a bit about Charlotte not having her back last week. And then she gets cut off by the Kabuki Warriors, along with Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out, and everyone starts brawling. Then Charlotte hits the ring and absolutely wears out Lash Legend and Nia Jax with a kendo stick, clearing them out of the ring. So... And we talked about this on your SmackDown review, how it was just sort of a waste of air to do all this. Charlotte isn't going to join them because here she is coming in to save the team. So apparently she's back in the match. Not really any thoughts on that. I thought it was just, kind of shit. Then we have a match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and this is a big one, Slick Vic. Becky Lynch, the champion, versus Maxine Dupree. She's getting another shot at it. So Maxine gets off to a hot start, but Becky takes over fairly quickly. And back from a break, Maxine is looking impressive with several big moves, but she keeps getting a 2 count. Becky locks in the disarmer, but Maxine is able to bridge out. That was really impressive. Maxine gets Becky in an ankle lock, dragging her to the center of the ring, but Becky is able to turn it into a pin, which causes Maxine to break the hold. I thought that Maxine had it right there. Becky hits a manhandle slam. Maxine gets her foot on the rope before the 3 count. Becky badmouths the ref, then starts to undo a turnbuckle pad. And that's when we hear AJ Lee's music hit. And I know we were asking where she's been for the last several weeks. Well, here she is. The distraction by AJ Lee allows Maxine to hit a flying crossbody on Lynch for the 3 count. And new Intercontinental Women's Champion. Wow, solid match. I thought Maxine did great here. I thought this was Maxine's best showing that I've seen. I thought it was great seeing AJ Lee back. I was, again, wondering about her, and the title is finally off Becky Lynch, which, in my opinion, is for the better. So I was a big fan of this. What did you think about it, Vic?
Man, I agree with a lot of what you just said there. Originally, I wanted to give Becky all the credit for making Maxine look good, but Maxine surprised me a few times here. Her counter from the disarmer was unique, and you mentioned that earlier too. And when she cinched in that ankle lock with the grapevine, I popped, and the crowd was into it. And she's shown some real improvement here. And while the match won't go down as like match of the year, it was still a really good match, and it really did elevate Maxine. She's not, she went from basically being a background character to now the women's Intercontinental Champion, and it didn't seem like it was hastily thrown together. This was built up. This was good. This was enjoyable, very enjoyable. My only question is, when will we finally have the one-on-one match between Becky Lynch and AJ Lee? Are they going to save it for Mania? Are they going to do it at, say, the Royal Rumble or a Saturday night's main event? What do you think?
Well, that's a good point, because Mania is still a few months away. I don't think that they would throw it into Saturday night's main event where the focus is on Cena. It would have to be maybe one after that, you would think. The Rumble is possible, but I would kind of like to see them in the Rumble. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's interesting. It's an interesting thought there, Vic.
Do you think they'll just buy time until Mania? I think so. I think they can buy time till Mania. I think they'll both be in the Rumble where they'll both have an angle together, like a spot together. Maybe Elimination Chamber, but no, I think at that point you save that for Mania.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they could definitely drag it out a little bit if they wanted to. So, here's hoping.
Who does Maxine feud with next?
Man, I don't know. If this past Monday's Raw was anything to go by, it could be anybody, right?
Yeah, I mean, even Lyra Valkyria is now back. Official, she can now challenge for the women's IC title again.
Yeah.
I doubt they're going to move Maxine and Lyra together.
Well, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. What do you have any thoughts on who she will feud with?
Well, I gotta look at the heel roster on Monday Night Raw, but I here's the thing. Maxine was training at the Heart Dungeon with Natalia. Maybe Natalia turns heel and they start having a feud. Maybe. Natalia doesn't really have a lot of stock, in my opinion.
She don't. No.
No, like a win over Natalia is not going to do anything for Maxine.
It's not. It should, but it's not.
No. Maybe I don't know. I mean, look at the women in the War Games match. She's not going to have matches with Nia Jax or Lash because they're on SmackDown.
Yeah.
The Kabuki Warriors are the tag titles, and she just beat Becky Lynch. I have to re-examine the rest of the women.
Yeah.
And maybe Nikki Bella after this Stephanie McMahon match.
All right. Well, maybe Nia Jax. Let's put that out there.
That'll put some butts in the seats.
Speaking of butts, have you seen the meme going around where it's like Nia Jax's ass, and it's like, whose ass is this?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen it?
I've seen a couple of memes like that with Jade Cargill, but not with
Oh God.
not with Nia Jax.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny. It's like, whose rump is this? And it's totally Nia Jax. I mean, it can't be anybody else.
Well, let me say one quick thing, because there was a backstage segment with Bayley and Lyra and the Kabuki Warriors, and I just noted that I'm so over Bayley's crazy gimmick.
Yeah, we're over that.
But there was a segment, there was a little scene there where Kyrie did the cutest "you can't see me" to Lyra's face, or Bayley's face. She did it to Bayley's face. That was the cutest "you can't see me" I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So props to Kyrie Sane for that.
Good eye there, Vic. Good eye. So we go to a match next. This is, again, a last time is now tournament. This is round one still. Javon Evans versus Gunther.
Yeah.
Gunther gets his classic theme music here. Aside from some brief mat wrestling, Javon manages to avoid Gunther with his quickness in the early going. And we see this is a regular thing going on throughout the match, you know. I think they put this match together so well, because Javon is so quick, he can avoid Gunther's big power attacks, but then Gunther will hit him with a big power attack, and then he'll fight back from it. It was a really, really good wrestling match, I thought. Let's see. Early going. Gunther hits a massive big boot. It nearly takes Javon's head off. We get a break. After the break, Javon slithers out of a Boston Crab, but gets hit with a backbreaker. Javon fights back for a bit, goes for a splash to the outside, but gets caught and slammed into the apron by Gunther. Back from another break, Javon continues to fight against Gunther's power moves, even kicking out of a power bomb. That was impressive. But Javon can't escape the sleeper hold that Gunther is able to slap on, and eventually he has to tap out. Again, I thought this was a fairly solid match. It was a great showing by Javon. Gunther seemed taken down a peg or two since his hiatus. I mean, it's still Gunther, but I felt that the former World Heavyweight Champion would have made quick work of Evans here. I'm glad he didn't, though. It was a great mix of styles that worked really well. And I thought it was, like I said, it was just really well put together. I was really impressed by this match. Your thoughts, Vic?
I am so glad you mentioned the theme song, Because yes, I popped really, really hard for Gunther having his old theme song, Symphony 9. I forget who the composer is, but later on, I'm going to send you a link because there's a power metal band that covered that. You want to hear a metal cover of that song with some vocals. It's good stuff. I'm going to send it to you later.
Sweet.
Yeah. And I missed Gunther, man. I really did. This man,
Yeah.
I'm so glad to have him back. He is, here's another video game reference for you, pal. He is big boss rank.
Ooh, that's high praise.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's demeanor, his facial expressions are all top notch. He can work great with smaller opponents like Javon. He can work with big guys like Drew and Sheamus. He sells really well. Like they're like you have to work for Sheamus to sell your offense. Because at first he shrugs everything off, which I think is great, especially if you're a smaller dude. But then later on, when Javon was finally hitting his big moves, you see the look of concern on Gunther's face. The man is big boss rank.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So Evans is as bouncy as advertised. The kid can get some crazy height from anywhere. There was some great back and forth action. So this was a good match. I really enjoyed it. I'm happy to see Gunther back. So he is my early pick to win this. I don't know if it's early anymore, but he's my pick to win this Last Time Is Now tournament.
Ooh.
And be John Cena's last opponent.
That's some early pickage there, Slick Vic. I figured we might be saving that for a later episode, but that's your pick. That's your pick.
That's my pick, yeah.
I'm really hoping it's not Gunther. A lot of people think it's going to be Gunther, and I just don't want it to be Gunther. I don't know why. I love Gunther too, and I agree with everything you're saying, but I just want it. I don't know. I just want it to be somebody else. Just want it to be somebody else.
LA Knight.
LA Knight would be good. Maybe just a surprise because, of course, keeping up with the times, Sheamus is hurt now, so he doesn't continue on in the tournament. They have to find somebody to fill that spot. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I don't know. I think Gunther, people have been talking about that for weeks, it seems now. Like, Gunther is going to be the guy to face John Cena, and I just hope it doesn't go that way because that's what we've been hearing for so long. You know, I just wanted some kind of surprise. But yeah, really good match, really good match. Next, we get a backstage segment. Maxine Dupree, she's celebrating with a title with AJ Lee. Jackie Redmond asks AJ if she's here to stay. She says she came back to help her husband, but Becky Lynch lights a fire in her that she forgot she had. Rhea Ripley shows up and asks AJ if she has a second to talk, then the two walk off. Thoughts on that? Looks like the final piece to the babyface women's War Games team has arrived.
Yes.
And, spoiler alert, that's exactly what it was. Then we get an in-ring segment. Paul Heyman, The Bronze, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, they all hit the ring. Heyman mentions several teams that he has walked to the ring for in past War Game matches, but he says this group is the greatest of them all. Wow. High praise.
Big praise, yeah.
Big praise. CM Punk's music hits and he comes out. He's not carrying the world title for some reason. He's followed by Jimmy and Jay, and then Cody Rhodes, who also is not carrying his championship with him. I don't know what's going on there. The face-off turns into a brawl between all the men inside and outside the ring, and suddenly we hear a familiar tune echo across the arena, and it's Brock Lesnar, who heads down to the ring. Lesnar hits a couple suplexes on Punk, then suplexes Cody, and he rolls each of them out of the ring, and then we see the credits. Of course, we know by now that that doesn't always mean the end of the show, because as the credits roll, suddenly Roman Reigns' music hits, and the OTC heads down to the ring to confront Lesnar. So the two have a face-off. We get Lesnar. He charges at Reigns, who dodges, hits the ropes, lands a Superman punch on Lesnar. Security hits the ring to keep Roman and Brock from fighting, but Bronson Reed heads in and attacks Reigns and the security crew. Reigns hits a Superman punch on Reed as Reed is heading up to the top turnbuckle for a tsunami. then heads ringside and spears somebody through the barricade. I didn't get to see who that was. Vic, who did he spear through the barricade? Don't know.
No.
I don't know either, but he speared somebody through the barricade to end the show. And I thought this was an incredible way to end the show. I didn't expect to see Roman back, but it all made sense once he did. The War Games match seems complete, and all of a sudden, this thing is slapped together into a must-see event. And I truly believe that. This is a must-see Survivor Series at this point. Vic, what did you think of this ending to Raw?
Well, I loved that Heyman talked about the previous teams he's managed in War Games, like the Samoan SWAT team, the Freebirds, the Dangerous Alliance, the Bloodline. I thought that was all good stuff. I love when Paul, I think I've seen him in interviews talk about, like, he doesn't like to talk about his past. He's always concerned about the future. But whenever he mentions stuff like this, I'm like, yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
You were part of some really memorable moments. Brock comes out to Pyro and slowly takes his cowboy hat off, which I thought was kind of funny. By the way, the following week,
He busts his ass.
he fell, and then he takes his cowboy hat off and puts it on Braun Breaker while smiling.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then Roman, he comes out, he takes his sweet ass time walking to the ring after his
Yeah,
music
for
hits.
real.
But the pop he got, man, my God, Roman Reigns is
Massive.
God.
Massive.
Yeah, I like this angle a lot. I thought it was fun. This is really, there was people were comparing the ending to WrestleMania 40 to Avengers Endgame,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, there are so many big stars in this match. This is like an Avengers movie. This is this is literally every single top star except for John Cena, but you have Roman Reigns, you have CM Punk, you have Brock Lesnar, you've got Drew McIntyre. These are all big names. Cody Rhodes. These are all huge, heavy hitters, and they're all going to be in that match this coming Saturday.
It's a lot to live up to. Yeah.
I'm in. I am in. I'm going to watch it. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Did you catch what happened after they went off the air?
What was it?
The baby faces decided to shower Logan Paul with some Prime bottles, and
No, I didn't catch that.
it's on the YouTube. It's on the YouTube channel, but yeah, it's not.
Okay.
It wasn't on Netflix, but yeah, the heels just decided to beat up Logan Paul and all pour a bunch of Prime bottles on him.
God, I might have to go watch that. But thus concludes Monday Night Raw. Slick Vic, why don't you say we take another quick break before we get into the rest of this show? We got a couple of things left here.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back once again. And we are pulling a segment that we love here on Wrestling with Power out of the vault for tonight's mega episode. This is This Day in Wrestling History, and we're actually going to be doing it for 2 days. Again, we had originally planned on doing this episode on the 20th, Thursday, our normal day. So Slick Vic has went the extra mile here, ladies and gentlemen. He has a This Day in Wrestling History for not only today, November the 25th, he also has a That Day in Wrestling History for November the 20th, as it was originally intended. And we're going to go ahead and let him take the floor here and see what he's dug up for us. This Day in Wrestling History.
Well, thank you so much for putting me over there, Mosley, man. I feel like $1 million right now. So let's start with when we originally were planning to record this episode. That would have been November 20th. Now, this is a WWE podcast, but hey, WCW Battle Bowl was a thing. Now, have you ever heard of Battle Bowl?
I've never heard of it, but I will mention, Slick Vic, WWE bought WCW. So technically they own it. That's all one thing. We can talk freely about that, no problems.
I mean, War Games started off as a WCW match.
Yeah. Halloween
Maybe even
Havoc.
before, the NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions. This was pre WCW.
Absolutely.
Dusty Rhodes, he pulled it out. He saw Mad Max 3, and he's like, the War Games, baby.
Yeah. Maybe he had a bicycle in there somewhere.
He got a bicycle. He got a bicycle from somebody.
So, anyways, WCW Battable. Now, if there's any WCW fans that want to crucify me if I'm getting this concept wrong, feel free. But anyways, basically what it was there was random tag team matches, like friends and foes were forced to be tag teams against other friends and foes. And the winners of the matches would be put into a battle royal at the end of the night. And the winner of the battle royal was who was the winner of Battle Bowl. I don't know if there's any prize or concepts because I haven't looked too deeply into this, but that was definitely a thing. November 20th, 1993, WCW Battle Bowl happened. Also on November 20th, in 2011, we have Survivor Series 2011. The main event saw John Cena and The Rock teaming up for the first time. Well, this was The Rock's first match since WrestleMania 20 in 2004 against, any idea who they fought against? Do you remember?
What? No.
It was against The Miz and R-Truth, also known as Awesome Truth. John Cena and The Rock against R-Truth and The Miz. That was a big deal. I remember seeing that live. I think I was at a bar in Hyrule, Illinois. Anyways, CM Punk also beat Alberto Del Rio that night to win the WWE Championship, and that was when he would hold that title for his record, at the time, 434 days. Do you remember Survivor Series 2011 at all?
I should, but specifically, no.
Okay.
I think I was smoking a lot of reefer during that time, so
wow. You were a fan of you were deep into the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You were, Ricky from Trailer Park Boys you were hanging out with Ricky a lot. And,
yeah. Smoking some hash coins and stuff like that.
Yeah, you were forgetting your responsibles for.
Yeah.
A lot of people say when you grow up, you can't smoke weed and drink every night, but that's not true. You still can. You still have to wake up every morning, but you got responsibles now.
Yeah, you got responsibles.
All right. So lastly, on November 20th was Survivor Series 2016. That was the night Goldberg had his big return to WWE. And I think it was since 2004. So that would be 12 years?
Long time, yeah.
Yeah. That was his first match, I believe, since WrestleMania 20, where him and Brock had that shit fest.
It was bad. It was bad.
So who does Goldberg have his next match with that night? Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And what happened? Goldberg wins in 86 seconds.
Awesome.
I believe there was a couple of shoves, a spear, another spear, and a jackhammer, and the match was over.
Yeah.
You
awesome.
Remember that one?
I do remember that one. Yeah, absolutely. I remember Goldberg coming back. I was so pumped. I remember I was working out regularly at the time, and I was at the gym running on the treadmill watching Monday Night Raw when he came out, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. Because he had came back, I think, to promote one of the WWE games, one of the 2K games. Like, that's why he was there. But obviously, he comes back, they rope him into a match, and it's this match against Goldberg. And then finally, when we get to it, I loved it because this was coming off of, Brock beating Undertaker at WrestleMania, and
yeah,
I think even dominating Cena. This was after all of that, and Goldberg just comes in and, spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. It was crazy. It was awesome.
Yeah. This was close to the peak of Beast Brock Lesnar, Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I've never been the biggest Goldberg fan, but I was still really shocked and surprised to see this happen. So, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
So, shifting gears, we got a time machine, right? We got a DeLorean.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a master of the gigawatt scale.
I am.
So here we are. Now we're in November 25th. Survivor Series 1992 happened. Are you ready for a little story time?
Absolutely.
Story time with Slick Vic. Here we go.
Yeah.
So Survivor Series 1992. The main event was Bret the Hitman Hart versus Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship. By the way, Shawn Michaels is also the Intercontinental Champion at the time. But that title is not on the line. It's not title
Not on
for
the
title.
line. Yep.
No, only Bret's title's on the line. Bret wins with a sharpshooter. That's right. Bret hooked Shawn into the sharpshooter, and he won the match. You know what happened 6 years after this match? Or I'm sorry, was it 5 years after this match?
The screw job.
Shawn put Bret in the sharpshooter, and Bret screwed Bret.
Wow, 5 years.
Yeah.
Crazy to think about.
Yeah. Also on this night, this is probably the most memorable portion of that night for me. Originally advertised was going to be Macho Man Randy Savage teaming up with the Ultimate Warrior. Their tag team was called the Ultimate Maniacs.
But
they were going to face Ric Flair and Razor Ramon.
Yep.
For whatever reason, there's a lot of stories out there. The Ultimate Warrior was no longer part of WWF a few weeks before this match. Mm-hmm. So there was this segment on, I think it was called Primetime Wrestling. I remember watching it, where Macho Man needed to pick a new partner. So he hold on, let me back up. Primetime Wrestling, Macho Man is there that night, and Bobby Heenan and Mr. Perfect are also there that night. And Macho Man says, "I got the perfect partner for this match." Yeah. Something like that. So basically he says he wants Mr. Perfect to be his tag team partner, which is a little weird because Mr. Perfect is with Bobby Heenan. They're both managing Ric Flair.
Yeah.
But Mr. Perfect thinks about it. And throughout the night, throughout that television episode, Bobby Heenan was totally shitting on Mr. Perfect, like indirectly shitting on him, saying, "No, he's not doing. He's retired. He can't do this anymore. He's not that. He can't wrestle." And you see Mr. Perfect's face like getting redder and redder because he's fucking mad. So by the end of that episode of Primetime Wrestling, Mr. Perfect, he takes a bottle of water and like douses Bobby with it and tells Savage, "I'm on your team, baby." We have the match with Randy Savage and Mr. Perfect versus Ric Flair and the Macho Man. It's a little upsetting though. When you look at the promotional material, Ultimate Warrior is still all over the promotional material. Anyways, Perfect
is that where he held him up for money and got fired?
No, that was SummerSlam 91.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, yeah. Mr. Perfect got a lot of time to shine that night, and they walked away victorious. Lastly, I wanted to say there was a match between Big Boss Man and Nails. If you're wondering who Nails is, he didn't stick around that long. He was only there in 92. They had a nightstick on a pole match. So Nails was a convict. He wore like an orange jumpsuit. Boss Man was a cop. Boss Man was a babyface cop at the time, but Nails is like, he put me away, like he was a abusive cop or whatever, but now I'm free and I'm going to get my revenge. And they have a nightstick on a pole match. And You know, good old new generation era goofiness. It's fun. There's other matches on the card. That's fine because I'm probably leaving out some good traditional Survivor Series matches, but that's what sticks out to me. Those 3 matches for Survivor Series 1992. Thus concludes Slick Vic's trip down memory lane. Mosley, you may now pilot, or I should say, drive the DeLorean back to 2025.
Well, I'm going to drive it back to 2025 really quick, but you know what, Slick Vic? We're going to turn around and go back to 1990 because now we are officially going to do our retro review of Survivor Series 1990, the one that everybody remembers for a couple of reasons, and we'll get to those reasons in just a few moments. But yes, we are doing our retro review, Survivor Series 1990 right now. Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut. Gorilla Monsoon and Roddy Piper are on the announce team, so you know it's going to be good. And the first matchup of the night is the Perfect Team versus the Ultimate Warriors. And we just got done talking about the Ultimate Warrior and Mr. Perfect. So, the Perfect Team consists of Demolition, Axe, Smash, and Crush, with Mr. Perfect versus the Ultimate Warriors. You got the Intercontinental Champion, the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, versus the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, and the WWF Champion, the Ultimate Warrior. What a way to start this Survivor Series. So let's get right into it. At the beginning of the match, Warrior is wearing the white-strapped winged eagle here. Ha So let's pull her out right here. White-strapped winged eagle. Ultimate Warrior, wearing it loud and proud. It's one of the only times that this belt was shown off on television. Man. I happen to really love the white strap with this belt. I don't know what it is. It just looks so nice with it.
Does it make you want to sprint like down the block?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, the white strapped winged eagle. And, you know, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not the biggest Ultimate Warrior fan. That's not the reason I bought this belt. The reason I bought this belt is because I just love how the white and the gold looks together. So, and of course, this is the best design for the WWE, WWF Championship of all time. You know, this is the winged eagle, so.
I love the winged eagle belt.
There it is. All right, so we get it loud and proud on this. So, and there, before the match, though, before we get into it, Slick Vic, there's a promo, as there used to be back in the day. And we have the Warriors who are being interviewed. Warrior's in the back. He looks like Stevie Wonder. He's just staring around into the sky. It's like he doesn't know where he is. I didn't, and I did not understand more than 3 words that Warrior says during this promo. But I tell you one thing. I think they all took a trip down the little white line before they came out for this promo. They all had a little bit of a libation, if you will, in the back.
They had some of that, you know, never mind.
They had a little fairy dust betwixt them.
Nose candy.
Yeah, a little nose candy, if you will, before they headed out for this match. And then we get into the match, and Animal is all over Smash right out of the gate. We get some back and forth by each team until the Texas Tornado tags in Warrior. Warrior hits his flying shoulder tackle, followed by the big splash to eliminate Axe. Perfect Team cuts the ring in half and beats the piss out of Hawk for a bit before he's able to make a comeback against Smash. Hawk lands a top rope flying clothesline on Smash, goes for the pin, but Crush breaks it up. Animal comes in and starts brawling with Crush. The ref gets shoved by Smash and kicked by Hawk, which he basically no-sells, but eliminates both. remaining members of the Legion of Doom, and Demolition. So, we're left with former Intercontinental Champion Mr. Perfect and current Intercontinental Champion Texas Tornado, who go at it now, and what is easily the best wrestling sequence of this whole match. It was fantastic. Mr. Perfect hits 2 perfect plexes on the Tornado, but he kicks out of each one of them at 2, eventually tagging in the Ultimate Warrior, who shockingly sells for Mr. Perfect for several minutes. Wasn't expecting that. But eventually, Warrior hits his 2 big moves of death and wins the thing for the entire team. So the whole match was 90% bombs being thrown by everyone, with some technical wrestling thrown in thanks to the Texas Tornado and Mr. Perfect. Solid opening match. A lot of hype, a lot of cocaine, a lot of nose candy, a lot of Warriors. What'd you think about it, Slick Vic?
Man, first of all, did you? I have to give a little bit of props to the intro of the whole show, where you have like Vince McMahon is announcing the matches, and he's doing his over the top voice, like, "And we have the Ultimate Warriors. We have the Ultimate Warrior, and Mr. Perfect, Texas Tornado, NX, Rock, Smash, Animal." Crush! It's the Ultimate Warriors versus the Perfect Team.
It's the Perfect Team versus the Ultimate Warriors. Yeah,
I love that so much. Hold on.
Yeah, so good.
I need to clear my throat.
How does he do it? No one will ever know.
So a little bit of history. I think this is the only time all 3 Demolition members worked a pay-per-view together.
Wow, really? Okay.
I think so. I mean, yeah, because right before this was... I'm not going to go down that road. Anyways, I love the promo before the match. You touched on it. Classic promo. Hawk is doing. I'm sorry. Animal says this is for all the little warriors, all the little tornadoes, and all the little doomers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Warrior kicks in, he's like, "What does Warrior say? What does he even say?"
All I have with Warrior, he says, I had classic Warrior rambling for too long about skulls that have already made the sacrifices.
Yeah.
While growling and snarling.
Sacrifice. That's all it is. Like, you can't understand a word he's saying.
You know what I love about this, though? When Warrior is rambling, Hawk and Animal are going...
Yeah. They're just
like,
agreeing.
Yeah. Just fucking nodding their heads in defiance.
You got the Texas Tornado back there that looks like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Kerry, he had a few words. You've seen what Demolition can do. You see what Perfect can do. Now see what we can do. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I got to back up because I am watching this whole event with nostalgia goggles.
That's fine.
I can't. I'm going to try to be partial, but I'm a little impartial.
You can be partial because I have the advantage of being impartial. I did not watch this event in its entirety. I have a little bit different perspective on the event as a whole. So you be as nostalgic as you want to, Slick Vic.
Okay. Hawk and Tornado look great here. Of course, so does Mr. Perfect, bouncing around like a ping pong ball or a pinball for all the baby faces. And there's a part where Perfect wants Texas Tornado to get tagged in because he's got the belt. And Roddy Piper's like, which belt are you talking about? Because Warrior's got the world title and Texas Tornado's got the Intercontinental title. But the thing was, Texas Tornado beat Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental title.
And he was pointing to him and he was like, I want him because he took my belt. And he tags him in. Yeah.
But so Roddy's like, which belt are you talking about?
That was actually great, I think, because he wanted his belt. He wanted his Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, I thought that was great.
I thought Hawk looked great here, but LOD and Demolition were barely in this match. Warrior is terrible as always. That ending sequence with him and Perfect was lame. It reminds me of Goldberg matches that go longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, Mosley. I think you were wrong. Texas Tornado did not kick out of multiple Perfect plexes. He got pinned by one of them.
I thought he got hit by at least 2 of them.
Mr. Ultimate Warrior ended up kicking out of a perfect plex and then winning the match.
Okay.
Tornado was eliminated because he's
Okay.
not in the grand finale. He's not in the grand finale match, but that's okay.
True. Okay.
So yeah, overall, it's God. This is what you call like style versus substance or what? Because there's just so many big personalities in this match that it's just hard to ignore. It's not a great wrestling match by any means, but it's such a fun. It's this is why we watched wrestling in the early '90s for these larger than life characters. We didn't watch it to watch. Yeah, we didn't watch it for a technical masterpiece. This was,
but you got fun. A little bit of that when you got Carrie and Mr. Perfect in there.
Yes.
It was incredible.
Yes.
Incredible.
Those two were the best wrestlers in the whole match for sure.
Incredible sequence there. All right, so let's go to the next match. We have another Survivor Series matchup here. This is the Dream Team of Dusty Rhodes, Koko B. Ware, the WWF World Tag Team Champions, the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, versus the $1 Million Team, Ted DiBiase, Rhythm and Blues, which was Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine, who had dyed his hair black at this point in time, and a mystery partner. And we find out, of course, one of the things that this entire pay-per-view is known for was the identity of this mystery partner. It was The Undertaker. This is the big WWF debut of The Undertaker, and he's managed here by Brother Love.
Yes.
Look at the size of that ham hock.
Yes! I'm so glad you wrote that down. You said that out loud.
Yeah. So, into the match, Undertaker gets to shine pretty early. He hits Bret with a couple times he hits Bret a couple times, who tags in the Anvil, Jim Neidhart, who takes a slam and immediately tags out to Koko B. Ware. And about 5 seconds later, Taker drops Koko on his noggin like a sack of manure with the tombstone and eliminates him. Nobody wanted
tombstone.
It. Huh?
It was a stiff tombstone.
That you could tell he didn't know how to take it and he didn't know how to deliver it. He just knew what he was dropping him on his head.
You got me, brother.
He got him. He got him. So then Undertaker tags out. We get to see some tandem offense by the Rhythm and Blues on Bret Hart until he sneaks a tag into Jim Neidhart, who hits a power slam on Honky Tonk Man and gets a 3-count fall for the Dream Team. Dusty Rhodes and DiBiase have a nice quick exchange before Neidhart tags in again. Neidhart is tripped up by Virgil on the outside, who allows DiBiase to hit a massive clothesline and eliminates the Anvil. Several tags in and out for both teams until eventually we get Undertaker versus Big Dust. Taker surprisingly eliminates Dusty after hitting a top rope double axe handle. Dusty goes after Brother Love for getting some cheap kicks in after he was eliminated. Then Taker goes after Dusty and gets counted out as the brawl continues into the back. So, back in the ring now, we have Bret Hart, who eliminates Greg Valentine with a small package, then lands a solid crossbody onto DiBiase after knocking him over the top rope. The two fight outside for a bit, nearing a count out, but make it back in time. The fight continues with several near falls, both DiBiase and Hart. Bret eventually hits a crossbody off the ropes on DiBiase, but Bret's momentum carries him over and allows DiBiase to hook the leg for the 3 count, winning it for the $1 Million Team. This was a solid match all around, I thought, Slick Vic. Undertaker has a good debut. He gets to show off the unnatural resilience and power moves that he would come to be known for. DiBiase's in-ring work is especially impressive, even though he took the brunt of the damage for his team. His selling was great. Bret comes out looking like a hero, even though he ultimately took the pin to lose the match. I think out of everyone in this match, the one who did not stand out was Dusty Rhodes. surprisingly.
Coco Beware stood out more?
No. No. But I mean, if you're comparing Coco Beware and Dusty Rhodes, I mean, come on, Big Dust doesn't shine in this. No, Coco Beware ate a tombstone. Maybe he did shine more because he ate the first tombstone of
true.
the Undertaker's career. So I don't know. I everybody stood out. Everybody had a great showing, but Dusty, double axe handle from the top rope took him out. Multiple-time NWA World Champion? Come on.
Not only that, but Undertaker after that tossed him out of the ring like a sack of shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any other thoughts on this match, Slick Vic, before we move on?
This is all about the Undertaker, baby. And look at the size of that ham hock. The opening sequence is really, really good. Watching this back, I'm like, no, this is a way to get the man over.
Yeah.
Like, Bret Hart is trying to use his technical skills. Taker shrugs it all off, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then Jim the Anvil Neidhart gets tagged in. He tries some power moves. Undertaker says, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
They tag in Coco Beware. Coco tries to use his speed and gets spiked. It was a stiff tombstone. Like, this was a legit. I think I've even heard Undertaker talk about it. He spiked him hard. He didn't mean to, but he spiked him hard.
I mean, it was the first on screen. Like, nobody, and this was the early days when Undertaker was doing the pile driver, not so much like doing the tombstone, not so much like a pile driver, where you know how to take it. You hook your arms around his waist, so that you don't get drilled. Undertaker would put his left arm up and under the opponent's left arm, and then reach around with his right arm and drop him on his head like that. Like, there was no way to really truly protect it. If you notice when he did that, Coco locks his hands under the Undertaker's ass, and that doesn't help him at all. He gets dumped like a sack of shit. I mean, it's awful. It's awful.
And then to top it all off, Taker eliminates Dusty and just tosses him out of the ring, like I said, like he's nothing, like he's a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
So this really did a lot to establish the Undertaker in his debut. Fantastic stuff there.
Yeah.
And Neidhart getting eliminated by a freaking you said it was a devastating clothesline. I'm like, no, it's a generic looking clothesline from DiBiase. That was a good clothesline, Vic. Come on, that was nearly a clothesline from hell. That was a massive. God, I gotta challenge you on that play. No, but anyways,
we're gonna have to go back and review the play.
At least Honky went out with a huge power slam by Jim the Anvil. And then I have the ending sequence with Bret and Ted really picks up the pace. Like, good, fast-paced action, lots of excitement, lots of exciting near falls. Bret really came off like the future star we knew he becomes. And you mentioned this yourself, even in defeat, Bret looked really good.
Yeah, he looked really good.
And if you notice,
and DiBiase's selling was incredible, and his resilience was incredible. Man. Putting both of them over in this fashion was great because DiBiase wins it, but both of them go over. This was really good wrestling, in-ring booking. I thought it was great.
Yeah. The last thing I have to say is, I don't know if you caught this, and I don't blame you if you do. I had to be pointed this out myself. Is that at the end of the match, when Bret gets pinned, he mouths the word "fuck."
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Yeah. Selling it right through to the end. Yeah. Yep. Good stuff.
All right. So is it my turn to call the Vipers versus the Visionaries?
It's your turn for a little bit.
Oh, man. This is going to be interesting. So what's it called? But before the match starts, we have a backstage promo, and they're in the shower. Jake really does a great job of putting his team over backstage. He says these men have the scars of time written all over them. The Rockers have the scars of time written all over them. I can understand. I can understand Superfly
Yeah.
But the Rockers,
Yeah.
these are fresh-faced baby faces.
Yeah.
Anyways, Marty and Warlord start. Let me back up. The Vipers consist of Jake the Snake, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and the Rockers Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty against the Visionaries, which is captained by Rick the Model Martel, Power and Glory, which is Paul Roma and Hercules, and the Warlord.
Yes.
The Marty and the Warlord start. This is cool for me. This is the first time I get to review a match with the Rockers. And I'm a huge fan of the Rockers. But spoilers, it does not end well for them. Marty is using his speed to dodge Warlord's attacks and smacks him on the back, then hits the rest of the Visionaries in the apron. And Marty is super smooth here, man. Marty could go. Marty, if he didn't have all these issues, man, who knows what he could have been. Marty was just as good as Shawn Michaels at times. Of course, Shawn is no different when he comes in. He counters a hip toss by flipping onto his feet and hip tossing Martel. A great drop kick and a monkey flip. A great drop kick and a monkey flip. And then I got Jake and Paul Roma get tagged in. Jake gets some brief offense in before tagging in Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Roma tries to punch him in the head and he starts selling his hand. Classic stuff. And then in comes Hercules, who can't get any offense, so he tags in Warlord, who finally gets a few shots in on Snuka. Marty gets tagged in, goes for a second rope splash, which gets reversed into a power slam, and Marty's gone. Shawn counters a power bomb to a Hurricane Rana, and Jake comes in and finally knocks down Warlord. Shawn Michaels gets tagged in and eats a huge back body drop. Hercules comes in and takes Shawn's head off with a clothesline. Rick Martel comes in and gets some offense, and Shawn is selling his ass off for all members of the heels. Martel and Superfly go at it. Martel reverses a splash and gets the pin after hooking the tights. And then we're down to 2-1. Pretty much the same spot in the last match with Brett and Ted here with that reversal. Jake and Herc are fighting. Martel goes in for a cheap shot on Jake from the apron. Piper on commentary says, "You cheap ass. Sorry, you cheap person." And Roma comes in, misses a top rope fist drop. Shawn comes in and is a house of fire. It's a second rope elbow drop, but not quite the elbow drop he hits later in his career. Herc gets tagged in and crushes Shawn with an elbow drop of his own. Herc loads up Shawn for the powerplex, which they hit, and Shawn is gone. It's now 4-1. If you're keeping score with us, at least the crowd is at least loudly behind Jake. The heels take turns beating on Jake. Jake finally hits a DDT on Warlord for a big pop, but there's no pinfall because the ref is distracted. Jake then finally grabs Damien and chases Rick Martel out of the ring, who is not the legal man. So all 4 members of the Visionaries survive because Jake gets counted out. All right, thoughts. I always have an empty feeling when this match is over, almost anticlimactic, because none of the heels lost here, and I'm still kind of, it kind of leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. The Rockers both look great individually and are a much better team than Power and Glory, but they didn't get to show off any tandem offense or score any pins. While we did get to see a DDT and Damien, it just felt a little weak, so to speak. Not weak, but anticlimactic. I've used that word a bunch of times now, but yeah, that's kind of how I felt. I really like Rick the Model Martel. He's such a great cocky heel, but in this match was so busy you didn't really notice him as much, except for when Jake was trying to get at him. Not a terrible match, but not memorable either. I would love to hear your thoughts on this match because, like I said, nostalgia goggles up the wazoo. But what do you think?
I don't know what it is about Hercules, but I love Hercules, man. I love Hercules. I loved the match with Hercules at WrestleMania 3, and I just, the guy is roided out to the gills, but like,
oh yeah,
man, I wish I had the money that went into the steroids for this match. It would be awesome. But man, I love Hercules. Rick Martel's work is so good. So good. I loved the eye that Jake had where they had sprayed him with the pesticide shit from a few weeks ago.
He's got the contact lens.
Yeah, he's got the contact lens, and he sells that. And, you know, I was really hoping to see a little bit more of him hitting some more DDTs, eliminating more people, and that just didn't happen. And I think I was sort of left a little bit deflated at the end of it. Yeah. Because of that. You know, that's all I have to say about it. I felt a little bit deflated that Jake couldn't, you know, he hits the DDT on Warlord, but doesn't capitalize on it. And Warlord's out there looking like Stone Cold Steve Austin on steroids. And, you know, I don't know. I felt deflated at the end of it, Vic.
No, that's exactly how I felt too. Well, moving on, we have the Hulkamaniacs versus the Natural Disasters. The Hulkamaniacs are Hulk Hogan, Big Boss Man, Tugboat, I almost called him Typhoon, Tugboat, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan against the Natural Disasters, which is Earthquake, Dino Bravo, Haku, and the Barbarian.
Yeah.
So now you got we talked about this recently when we were reviewing Halloween Havoc. Here's the Barbarian.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen him again.
The Faces of Fear are
absolutely
here. Yeah. Backstage, Hulk Hogan says he's put together the baddest team of Hulkamaniacs he finds and puts them over one by one, brother. And then each member of the Hulkamaniacs take turns yelling at the camera, and then at the end, Hulk pays tribute to the troops in the Middle East, saying that they're all Hulkamaniacs, and to tell Saddam Hussein what you're gonna do when Saddam Hussein what you're gonna do when they run wild on you.
And he volunteers himself in his service to the U.S. Army.
Now, to say Hulk gets a huge pop when his music plays would be an understatement. Hulk was...
Oh, I wish I had the music on here.
Hulk was super over. Haku and Hacksaw...
There's no Hulkamaniacs here!
Oh, there was plenty of Hulkamaniacs that night.
Yeah, there was.
Haku and Hacksaw Jim Duggan start the match. Ho!
He's got a little bow, little ribbons tied around his 2x4.
Now, they were kind of sloppy with their attacks and selling here, and that's fine because Big Boss Man comes in, and with a really weak-looking flurry on Haku's midsection. He's the little punches he does. I still like the Boss Man, but that was weak as hell. That's like Shane McMahon level punches.
Yeah, good.
But then, hey, you know how long I've been waiting to say this? Boss Man hits the Boss Man slam.
Yes.
On Haku, and he's eliminated. Barbarian comes in, but Boss Man hits him with a big boot, and Boss Man is rolling here, man. He even gets a shot on Bobby the Brain Heenan for a loud pop. Bobby, of course, sells hilariously.
Yeah.
Barbarian finally takes over and suplexes and slams Boss Man. However, misses an elbow drop. By the way, he does this move where he gets in the second rope and then lateral walks a bit and then drops an elbow drop. It's pretty unique. So then Boss Man tags in Jim Duggan. So does Earthquake, or Earthquake comes in. Quake takes over. Hacksaw tries to come back. He runs the ropes, but Jimmy Hart holds the ropes down and Hacksaw falls to the ground. So what does he do? He chases after Jimmy Hart with the 2x4. He runs back into the ring and hits Quake with the 2x4 and gets disqualified. Hulk Hogan comes in and he body slams everybody, including Earthquake. And the crowd is on fire. They're lit, as the kids say. Unfortunately, Quake recovers and tags in Dino Bravo, who gets some elbow drops on Hogan. But then Hulk hits a small package and eliminates Dino Bravo. When was the last time you saw Hulk do a small package? Or inside cradle, whatever you want to call it. But Hulk used a wrestling hold or a wrestling counter and eliminated somebody. Good stuff. Earthquake comes back in. Bossman gets tagged in. Bossman attempts a splash but gets caught, which, god damn, Bossman's got to be 350 pounds, and Earthquake catches him. All right, Hogan, but then, I'm sorry. When he catches Bossman, that's when Hogan comes in and just shoves Bossman to, get on top of Earthquake for the pin, but Quake kicks out. Lost my shot here. However, Barbarian catches Bossman with a cheap shot from the apron, which results in a pair of elbow drops from Earthquake to eliminate the big Bossman. Hulk is back in, tries to knock over Quake, goes for a body slam, but this time he falls back. Tugboat finally gets tagged in. Gorilla Monsoon hopes the ring has been reinforced. Luckily for Monsoon, Tugboat and Earthquake fight outside and both get counted out. Now we're down to Barbarian and Hulk Hogan. Barbarian takes control and even hits a pile driver in Hogan. Good thing he didn't get him there, brother. Barbarian then hits a mean-looking big boot and a nice top rope clothesline. Tries to pin Hogan. 1, 2. Hulk kicks out and starts hulking up. At this point, you know the drill. He no-sells the 3 punches, hits 3 punches of his own, a big boot, and a leg drop for the win. Hulk even manages to get a punch and throws Bobby Heenan. Hulk holds up a fan's sign that says Hulk rules, and he wipes his sweat off with it and then gives it back to him. And we have a match. Now this, again, just a fun, crowd-pleasing match is what I got here, man. This is not a technical masterpiece. This is not going to go down as one of the greatest matches of ever, but find me a hotter crowd than this, man. They reacted to everything, especially what Hulk was doing. What do you think, Mosley? How were you? What was your thoughts on this match?
Man,
if you want to shit on it, go ahead. It's okay.
Well, I don't want to shit on it. I think that, towards the end, Hulk is getting his ass kicked, and he just sort of comes flying out of nowhere. I think that this was a pretty good match. A pretty good stopgap match. I think that they sort of, obviously they had the grand finale planned out for this. And whenever you go from that to what you see later, you sort of understand it a little bit more. But man, I just agree with you. I agree with you totally on the match. I think it was a pretty solid match. It was a fun match.
Let me elaborate. I have some more stuff I forgot to mention. So basically, I said, this match was solid, way more exciting than it looks like on paper. Hulk, of course, really gets to shine the most and did his thing. Yeah, the Hulk Hogan thing. Big Boss Man looked good. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Barbarian got their brief moments. Tugboat and Dino Bravo and Haku were just there, I guess. Even the Gorilla Monsoon forgets that that Tugboat's in the match because he's that was standing on the apron.
That was the biggest thing that honestly, Vic, that was my biggest takeaway from this match is that, I was sitting there like Tugboat was on the apron. He had not been tagged in the entire match. And, that Tugboat and Earthquake eventually go on to be a tag team. Yeah. And you're just kind of waiting for them to square up with each other. And it don't happen, and it don't happen. And you're waiting and waiting and waiting until the end. And then finally he gets in, and it's like, it just takes the piss right out of it.
Yeah.
It's even, like you said, even Bobby Heenan, he's like, I forgot the Tugboat was even there. It's because he hasn't been tagged in the entire effing match. So I was taken back by that a little bit.
I need a pause, bro. I need to make a break, a little short break for the restroom, so to speak.
A little pause for the piss, if you will.
Pause for the piss. Yes.
All right, we're going to be right back. Well, Welcome back, everybody, to Wrestling with Power. After that brief piss break, we are back, and we are continuing with our Survivor Series 1990 review, if you will, with a little Slick Vic over here. He's going to give you the next matchup, and then I'll finish it off, and then we'll move on to the end of the show, the main event, Slick Vic's picks. So you don't want to go anywhere. You want to hang out, join us for a few libations and whatnot. But I think we're all drained and ready to fill the tank back up. Slick Vic, if you will.
I'm glad you mentioned the madness, because there's actually a brief segment here where Macho Man comes out dressed like a candy cane.
Yeah, that was awful. I hated the Macho Man segment.
He calls Mean Gene the biggest turkey, and the Ultimate Warrior the ultimate turkey. And Sherry slaps the ultimate chicken. He's going to be the ultimate loser. Ultimate everything here. Anyways, this is followed by a match. We have the Alliance versus the Mercenaries. The Alliance is made up of Nikolai Volkov, Tito Santana, Bushwhacker Luke, Bushwhacker Butch. Against the Mercenaries, which is Sergeant Slaughter, Boris Zukov, or the Oriental Express, Sato, and Tanaka.
Yep.
So Sergeant Slaughter cuts a very slow talking promo on his way to the ring. I couldn't pay attention. And that was brutal. I don't know if you caught anything Slaughter was talking about. It was like,
oh, it's bad.
I am gonna win the.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love when Slaughter calls Warrior the ultimate puke, but man, that promo was insufferable, and it went on for so damn long. Anyways, the Bushwhackers make me chuckle as always. Tito's flying forearm is smooth, and you know, the baby faces, they eliminated Boris Zukov, Tanaka, and Sato really quickly. Literally, like 5 minutes into the match, it's 4-on-1. And Slaughter took over, and the pacing went down the drain. At least when the Bushwhackers came in, it picked up for a bit. But then, you know, it just went down. But I did like the one positive thing, the only positive thing, as Slaughter came back, and it was like, oh, shit, this guy's kind of scary. Like his teammates got wiped out immediately, but he's single-handedly taken down the entire babyface team.
Yeah.
You know, great selling by Sarge when Tito drop kicked him to the back of the head, and Sarge went flying into the turnbuckle. At the end, though, Tito wins by DQ because Sergeant Slaughter was it General Adnan who hit Tito with the
flag.
With the flag,
and the ref caught it. The ref was down, but he still caught it.
Yeah. So Sarge has the camel clutch in, and the referee's like tapping him on the back, like to let it go. Sarge thinks he wins, but no, he actually got disqualified, and Sarge like loses his mind.
Yeah.
So mercifully, this match was the shortest match of the night because it pretty much sucked.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Mr. Mosley?
They are working up to WrestleMania 7, where Sarge is going to go in as the champion, and he's going to drop the belt to Hogan, because there's this whole thing going on, you know, between the Middle East and the United States. So they're playing into that, and they start playing into it here, where Sarge is an Iraqi sympathizer, and he is not impressive in the ring. Sarge is blown up the entire time. He's slow. He cuts this big promo at the beginning of it that you just want to end like 6 minutes before it actually ends. And it's just dragging on, and it's the worst. In my opinion, this is the worst part of the entire night. And we still have the egg hatch segment to go. So this is the worst part of the entire night. I mean,
wait, the match is worse than the egg hatching segment?
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear your talk about the egg hatching segment.
Which one stood the test of time? Okay.
There's one segment. Well, one segment is definitely talked more about than a match.
Yeah, and exactly. So, yeah, I was not impressed by this whatsoever. I thought Sarge was very slow, very sluggish, and I knew what they were working up to. They're working up to, the build up to WrestleMania, and man, ass match of the night for sure.
Yes.
All right, so speaking of egg hatching, you got this big giant egg, Slick Vic, that's just chilling on the stage, and we've seen this egg for a few weeks now, and it's time for it to hatch. How they knew when it was going to hatch, I have no idea, but they knew it. Gene Okerlund knew it, and so you got the giant egg on the stage, and you got Mean Gene up there to report everything that's going on. Mean Gene says, wherever that came from, I'm sure it had to hurt. The egg starts to crack and out pops the gobbledygooker. To lots of boos from the crowd. They are not having it. Because you can tell this crowd has been hook, line, and sinker this entire time throughout this entire egg thing. And then it pops out. It's a guy in a turkey suit. A guy in a turkey suit. And it's the gobbledygooker. And Mean Gene says, you got legs like my mother-in-law, pal. So
I'm laughing because of how terrible it is.
Then we get some music. Some music kicks up. And the gobbledygooker leads Mean Gene down to the ring where the two dance. They hit the ropes. They roll around. They just have a good old time. So the gobbledygooker, for everybody out there, no kayfabe or whatever. At first, when I saw this, I was like, this could not have been the intention. Like, they had to have something else planned for this, and then it didn't work out, so they thought, okay, let's stick a guy in a turkey costume and just have him pop out and end it. No, this was the intention all along. And who thought this was a good idea? I don't know. Somebody did. But either way, the gobbledygooker, the guy in the turkey costume, was portrayed by Hector Guerrero. And for those of you out there who don't know, Hector Guerrero is the brother of Eddie and Chavo Guerrero. So, there's you a little bit of inside information. Hector was behind the mask. And that's it. They danced, and that was it. That was it, pal. You got legs like my mother-in-law. What did you think about this gobbledygooker segment, Slick Vic?
I had a VHS copy of this event as a kid that I watched over and over and over. And I always fast forwarded through this bit because this is easily one of the worst segments of all time, in my opinion. The crowd immediately boos when the egg hatches and out comes the gobbledygooker. They are not reacting to the goofiness in the ring. Piper is trying his hardest to get it over by laughing at everything. But no, this is not funny. It's bad. It just goes on for way too long. If this was live, if I had a remote in my hand, I would have changed the channel.
Yeah.
Like I said, to this day, I always fast forward through this. But for this review, I sat through it all, and I'm kind of like, Oh my God, this is fucking bad. This is really bad. Really, really bad. Hector Guerrero, man, give that man an award for trying. Yes, he's Eddie's brother. I have to correct you, Mosley. He's Chavo's uncle.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, fucking hell, dude. Worst segment. Probably the worst segment of all time, man.
Wow.
It was so miscalculated. And I did a little research, and I think the Gobbledygooker made a few TV appearances after this, but he was not at the next pay-per-view. He was not at the next pay-per-view.
No.
And they just... The next time you see the Gobbledygooker on a major event, it's the Gimmick Battle Royal in WrestleMania 17.
Yeah. And
So-
I believe Hector
He reprised...
he reprised his role for WrestleMania 17. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's authentic. That is really authentic.
So, and Mean Gene even had done, I don't know if it was a shoot interview or what, but I think it was his Hall of Fame acceptance speech where Mean Gene gave a shout out to Hector Guerrero and said, we had some really good times. So,
That's nice. That was nice.
yeah, apparently it was good for them. It just wasn't good for the gander, if you will. So they cut that off. They cut that off pretty quick. But the Gobbledygooker, God bless him. There's action figures made of this guy.
This is how infamously bad it is, ladies and gentlemen.
It was
bad.
It was starting to get bad. But that's not all of the show. The egg hatches, and then we have the main event. And this is the grand finale, Slick Vic. Survivors from the night's Survivor Series matches compete in one final grand finale survival match. And as a matter of fact, this was the only Survivor Series event to feature this type of final match.
Yeah. Interesting concept, but never repeated again.
Yeah. Well, I didn't understand it. It took me a long time to understand what was going on here because originally I thought that the survivors of the match, it was going to be everybody for themselves and they were going to fight in sort of like a battle royal type thing. That's not the case. They actually got separated into two different teams, and it seems like they were separated into heel and babyface teams. So we got Tito Santana, Ultimate Warrior, and Hulk Hogan versus the Warlord, Rick Martel, Hercules, Paul Roma, and Ted DiBiase. So this is a 3-on-5 main event match. And I'm just going to shotgun this really quick and try to tell you kind of who eliminated who. So, Tito Santana eliminated the Warlord almost immediately off of running splash. Ted DiBiase then eliminates Tito Santana after some back and forth off a stun gun. That's when he posts him up and drops him on the top rope. The heel team takes turns beating up Hogan. Then Hogan hits one clothesline on Paul Roma and eliminates him. Rick Martel decides he has had enough and self-eliminates by leaving and getting counted out. Hogan then eliminates DiBiase after a short brawl, hitting the big boot and leg drop combo for the pin. Hogan then knocks down Hercules, then tags in Warrior, who hits his running shoulder tackle and splash to pick up the pinfall and victory for his team. The final survivors of the night are Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior to close the show. Wow. What an event. Slick Vic, your thoughts? I couldn't hear that at all. What was that again? Give it to us again.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
H-O space Kogan.
Yeah.
Oh, Kogan. Anyways.
Oh, Kogan. Load the rocket fuel with the
Poor Tito
pilots who
Santana.
have already made the sacrifice.
He loves to say that. He talked about earlier the skulls that have already made the sacrifices.
Yeah, I know.
But I was going to say, poor Tito Santana. At least he got an elimination. He got rid of the Warlord, but he was the sacrificial lamb on the babyface team because nobody was going to beat Hogan and Warrior.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
This was basically, it wasn't good. It wasn't good, but it was again, it was trying to be a crowd pleasing match, but Warrior and Hogan already won their matches and sent the crowd home happy. This was just kind of, okay, now we're going to watch them pose.
So,
because
hence why they never did this again.
I guess not. Yeah. Because again, it's just it felt recycled at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once Tito got eliminated, it was elementary. It was just watching the baby faces slowly make their comebacks. Hogan did a lot of selling, but then the baby faces won, as you'd expect. Warrior and Hogan, celebrate together to end the show.
Yeah. And, looking back at this show all together, and I think this is the first time that I've ever watched this show front to back, you really get an idea of where the WWF was at the time. Where you have a lot of talent who could be main event talent. A lot of talent who are really good in the ring, really good heels, really good baby faces that get to show off what they can do. But at the end of the day, it ain't about that. It's about Hogan and Warrior, who are the absolute worst in-ring competitors of this entire thing, standing tall at the end. And of course, if you were a kid at this time, you were probably freaking out, and you were like, yeah, Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, and this is awesome, and but looking back on it, and of course I don't have the nostalgia goggles, I see a lot of talent from Ted DiBiase to Rick Martel to Jake the Snake to
the Rockers.
The Rockers. Well, the Rockers eventually became big, but like Hercules, even, I don't know. There were so many people in this match that were so good in the ring and out of the ring that just were never going to get that push. They were never going to get it because you had Hogan and Warrior at the top who were ass, but they were over because they were these big, larger-than-life cartoon characters who stole the show. They stole the show. So Slick Vic, all together, when watching Survivor Series 1990, we remember two things. The debut of The Undertaker, which would have been asked too, if not for The Undertaker going on to become what he became, and the Gobbledygooker, which was, in your words, the worst segment ever in WWE history. Very little else is remembered about this event. What do you take away from this? You say you watched this over and over and over as a kid. This was my first time watching it. And again, my takeaway was, wow, they have so much talent that they just did not capitalize on because they were so focused on the Warrior and Hogan and these big top name. You know where it went from there. What's your takeaway from this all these years later?
I mean, it's the obvious. It's The Undertaker.
Yeah.
The Undertaker made his debut. He made a huge impact and a very long-lasting impact. But before I continue, to say that Warrior and Hogan were the worst, no, I got to put Warlord before them.
I don't agree. I think the Warlord had potential. I just think that it wasn't met because of what was going on at the time.
Interesting.
I think Warlord. I don't think we ever got to really see what Warlord was capable of. You know?
Him and the British Bulldog had a very lengthy series of matches, and they were not good.
Okay,
But
well,
anyways,
we may have to save that for another time because
we will agree to disagree on that one. But my biggest takeaway is the Undertaker. The Undertaker came in and took over for the next 30 years almost.
Yeah.
He was the man. Not the man, but he was up there.
he was up there. He was the man.
Yeah.
He became the face of WrestleMania for many years for a lot of people. And of course, I mean, it goes without saying, we could sit here all day and talk about Undertaker. This was his debut, and what a debut it was!
And also, in that same match, Bret Hart really came out really well there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bret was still a tag team wrestler. Not long after this, he went solo. But man, Bret looked crisp. Bret was fast too at the time.
Yeah,
and he became literally a couple of years later, he was world champion. Undertaker did it before him, but still,
you got me, brother.
yeah. But Bret had an actual reign. Undertaker won the belt and dropped it 4 days later this Tuesday in Texas. But that's another story.
Another story for another time.
Yeah.
All right, Slick Vic. Well, that's it. That's Survivor Series 1990 in the books here at Wrestling with Power. We did it. We got through it.
Let me ask you one question. Did you have fun, or were you entertained watching this event?
I was entertained watching it. I really enjoyed watching this event. It's not something that, as an event as a whole, I will remember. And that's kind of what I was just saying. You know, this event is remembered for two things above all. And there's a reason for that. I went into it knowing this, and I came out of it reaffirming this. Undertaker's debut and the Gobbledygooker. You know, these are the two things that this event is known for, and now I understand why. You had a lot of talent in the ring, but they just were not used going forward. You had Ultimate Warrior, who's the WWF champion, Hulk Hogan, who is still, they're trying to live off Hulkamania, and we know going forward from this that Sergeant Slaughter, he looks strong, so he comes out, beats Warrior for the title, and then you set up WrestleMania 8, and then, you know, you have Hogan on top again. It's just the same thing over and over. They had the talent there to build on and really kind of move the product forward, but they were still stuck in this rut of, this is who we want to be on top because this is our cash cow. You know, we can sell Hulk Hogan toys, you know, until 1993 when nobody cares about him. But it's, you know, it's one of those things. It's a weird kind of thing. But I encourage everybody to watch this pay-per-view because it's a moment in history. And you will learn a lot by watching this pay-per-view. Ted DiBiase, absolutely phenomenal in the ring. Absolutely phenomenal. That's my takeaway from this. The Gobbledygooker, not as bad as Slick Vic might think. You know, Rick Martel shines a little bit. Rhythm and blues, shines a little bit. Good stuff. Bret Hart coming up on eventually becoming that world champion that we know him as. On full display here. The Boss Man getting the Boss Man slam in the pin. I mean, there's a lot in this pay-per-view to love. There really is. And it's a really good pay-per-view. But I think it was a little bit tainted by the fact that, you know, Ultimate Warrior and Hogan were standing victorious at the end. That's the way that it was going to be, though. I mean, there was no other way around it. It's a tell-all for where the WWF was at the time.
Right. That was very eloquently spoken there. That was very insightful. I'm happy to have you share that. That was good stuff, pal. That's good shit, pal.
Good shit, pal. Well, how about we just segue once again? That is our retro review for Survivor Series 1990. Of course, we got Survivor Series 2025 coming up this weekend, and we want to go ahead because, again, we're going to be skipping this week in the Wrestling with Power archives. We're going to be skipping this episode this coming week. So we're going to go ahead and get Slick Vic's picks on Survivor Series 2025 out of the way. We're going to find out what Slick Vic has been up to over there in his little cottage over in suburbia. And find out what the crystal ball has been talking to him about, because we know it's been talking to him about a lot. We're going to find out right now. All right, there we go. Good shit, pal. All right. So, for Survivor Series 2025, and of course, the card is, well, I don't know. We're on Tuesday. We still have a Friday Night SmackDown to go this coming 28th of November. I don't think they're going to add anything to it, but they might. As it stands, as of right now, the card is pretty much filled out for Survivor Series 2025. And Slick Vic has his picks. There are 4 matches on the card as of right now. Slick Vic, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, awesome. So, I'll read them off to you, and then we'll see what you think about them. Slick Vic's picks for Survivor Series 2025. The Men's War Games match. We see Cody Rhodes, who is the WWE Champion. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and the World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk, versus Drew McIntyre, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, and Brock Lesnar. What do you call on this one, Slick Vic?
Well, to put it simply, I am choosing the heel team over the babyfaces team. So I'm going to say, what, Team Vision? Is that the right team? Team Brock, Braun, Bronson, Logan, and Drew. I'm going to choose them going over the babyface team of Punk, Punk,
Rhodes, Reigns.
yeah, and the Usos. Yeah. See, I see Brock coming in last, and he just wrecks everybody. and Jimmy Uso takes the fall. I also predict it will set up some future main event matches, maybe even a WrestleMania match. They'll be even planting seeds for a WrestleMania match.
Okay.
Coming out of this night.
Yeah, they definitely could, and that would be excellent. So, all right. So, Slick Vic picks the heel team to win the men's War Games match. Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Logan Paul. All right. Let's segue on over to the women's War Games match, where we have the team of Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Io Sky, and AJ Lee versus Asuka, Kairi Sane, Becky Lynch, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend. What say you, Slick Vic?
Well, Becky is in it for herself. If you caught that promo this past week, she, instead of putting over her team, she put herself over her own team, which I thought was hilarious, by the way. Yeah. Instead of saying how she put, she was basically saying, all these women are here because of how great I am.
Yeah.
Which I thought was fantastic. So I can see her, she just cowardly betraying her team, not like stabbing anyone in the back, just not helping. So I am picking the baby faces. I'm picking Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, don't tell me, Charlotte, Alexa, and AJ Lee getting the win here. And I'm maybe even going to say that Kairi Sane takes the losing fall.
Okay. Good picks there, Slick Vic. I like it. I like it. Good insight. So those are the War Games matches. Let's move on to the couple of matches we have here that are not a part of War Games. First up, and of course, as you always say, this may not be the order in which they happen. But next up, we have the Women's World Championship. Stephanie Vaquer, the Women's World Champion, is going to be taking on Nikki Bella for the title. What say you, Slick Vic?
All right. I still think Stephanie Vaquer has got a lot of mileage left in her title reign. She's still very hot, both, physically and on her run.
Let's not get carried away here, Slick Vic.
Sorry about that. But also...
Jesus!
Yes. Is anyone clamoring for a Nikki Bella title reign? I mean...
No.
If you really want to get technical, if you really think Nikki Bella has a chance of winning this, there is actually one way I can see her winning this match. And that's with the help of Twin Magic. If Brie shows up.
Oh, okay.
If we hear that stinking theme song, Brie mode, I'm going to riot. But
yes.
The only way I see that can still happen. Twin Magic has happened and backfired. So that could still happen, and Stephanie still goes over. Maybe she'll give both the Bella twins the devil's kiss.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Awesome insight by Slick Vic there.
So, I am picking Stephanie Vaquer to go over.
All right. And last but definitely not least, we have the Intercontinental Championship. John Cena, the Intercontinental Champion, versus Dominic Mysterio, getting his rematch here in San Diego. What say you, Slick Vic?
I don't think home field advantage is going to play any part in this. This doesn't affect my pick. I think John has 2 dates left. He's got Survivor Series and the Saturday night's main event where he has his final match. Is he really going into Saturday night's main event with the Intercontinental title still? No, it's not happening. Ooh. John has 2 dates left, and he's going to drop the title to Dominic Mysterio at Survivor Series War Games in 2025 in San Diego.
Wow.
Not because any home field advantage. That's just how it's gonna happen. Dom might not win clean, and that's fine. But no, I don't see John Cena winning. Now I might eat my words next week, but no, I'm standing firm on this one.
Wow, I don't know if I agree with you on this, Slick Vic, because that would mean that John Cena is going to lose his last 2 matches. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, all right. The picks are in. Ladies and gentlemen, I got the hiccups. Too many libations for Mr. Mosley over here.
Lock and load my picks, Mr. Mosley.
Oh, I've locked and loaded them, but I'll tell you what, Slick Vic. No, I've had too many libations. So, to recap, Survivor Series 2025. Slick Vic picks the heel team for the men's, the babyface team for the women's, Stephanie Vaquer to retain for the women's world, and Dom to win his title back for the Intercontinental. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all of everything that we have for you here tonight. We're going to play a little music for you here. Too close for comfort.
Hold on. Before we go any further, Mr. Mosley. What is your picks?
What is my picks? Oh, we didn't talk about this, Slick Vic. We're going to talk about my picks now? Okay.
I'm genuinely curious.
I don't have picks. Well, you know what? Let's do it.
Well, you strongly disagreed with me on the Dominic Mysterio John Cena match.
I do. So, you pick the heel team to win for the men's War Games. You know what? I'm gonna pick the face team to win for men's War Games. Because, you know, you got Cody Rhodes, the WWE champion, CM Punk, the World Heavyweight champion. I think they need to win going into WrestleMania season. We got Royal Rumble coming up. We got all this stuff leading into WrestleMania. I think they need to be strong going into that. So I'm going to pick the opposition there. Women's War Games, I think you're on top of it. I think that the babyface team wins that one. Sure. Women's World Championship, Stephanie Vaquer retains. Intercontinental Championship, John Cena retains. Why? Because I think that whoever wins the Last Time Is Now tournament also becomes the Intercontinental Champion. I think that John Cena takes that title into his last match. And then he loses it to whoever wins the Last Time Is Now tournament. I don't think it makes sense for John Cena to lose his last 2 matches. I don't think it does anything for the person that beats John Cena in his last match to beat him after Dom beats him for the Intercontinental title. So, I think John Cena takes that title into his last match. And then not only do we have the guy who beats John Cena in his last match, but also becomes Intercontinental Champion. There you go.
I see one flaw in your picks, Mr. Mosley.
What's that?
You chose baby faces for every single match.
Did I now?
You chose the baby faces for the men's. You chose the baby faces for the women. You chose Stephanie Vicaire, and you chose John Cena.
Okay. I did. Babies all the way. Babies.
Babies all the way.
That's my picks.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, we have some opposition here. We'll have to see how it goes down. This weekend is Survivor Series 2025. Survivor Series War Games. Everybody tune in and make sure to, over here on Wrestling with Power, you can follow us on Facebook.com/Wrestling with Power. Post your thoughts, everything that you think that you may see happening before the event goes down. Also, we are live right now on Twitch, twitch.com/Wrestling with Power. If you want to join us during our shows, our episodes, this has been a hell of an episode, Slick Vic. Over on Twitch, you can do that. What else do we got, Slick Vic? Remind me here. YouTube.com/@Wrestling with Power podcast. Because
Spotify.
because some jabron took Wrestling with Power. So, Facebook.com/@Wrestling with Power podcast. If you want to see us here, because we are live, we are doing this live on YouTube. You can watch live on Spotify. Just search up Wrestling with Power. You're going to find us there. You're going to be able to listen to us. It's going to be really easy, really seamless. If you live out in the sticks where you don't get a lot of internet connection, you're going to be able to get our podcast seamlessly and listen to it on the road as you drive around in your daily life, as I do, of course, in my job. And we are everywhere, Slick Vic. So, this coming weekend, again, Survivor Series 2025, we will not be recording an episode this weekend because we're going to be spending Thanksgiving with our loved ones and our family and everybody, and we're going to be eating and getting fat and doing all of that good stuff, and hopefully all of our listeners will be doing the same. I love Thanksgiving. I think it is a great holiday, and hopefully you have went out and got your Prairie Farms eggnog and holiday custard and all of that good stuff to celebrate. And Slick Vic and I are going to be taking a sabbatical, and we're going to be coming back here in about a week with our Survivor Series 2025 review, which of course you're going to be able to see the results of Slick Vic's picks. We're also going to be having SmackDown and Raw for that week, reviewing for you guys for your viewing pleasure. And man, what a bunch of content that we've prepared for everybody here, Slick Vic. What do you think about this? My God, we are going over the top for all of our listeners here, man. I think we have one of the best podcasts on YouTube and Spotify, period, right now. We're really good. We're really going over the top. We're doing it big for them. What do you think about this, Slick Vic?
Well, I hope we have provided our listeners with some adequate entertainment, hopefully more than adequate entertainment, because we both enjoy recording this podcast for our listeners, our beloved listeners. We love you all. And I just want to say, if you enjoyed this, give us a like, give us a love, share, spread the wealth. If you want to hear more retro reviews, the Royal Rumble is coming up, and follow us on any platform that Mr. Mosley has shilled. So if you want to hear us review a retro Royal Rumble, let us know. Reach out. We will find you. If you find us, we will find you.
Absolutely. We're gonna be reviewing all of our comments and all of the love that you guys send us, especially over there on Facebook. You know, that's where we see it, but YouTube, of course, Spotify, you can comment on there. Anywhere that you want to see any kind of retro reviews, any kind of feedback is appreciated. And
Yes.
we're out here doing it big for you. And Slick Vic, man, we've been putting up a hell of a lot of content here lately. We're gonna take a break again for a week. And this might be a regular thing. You never know. There's gonna be Christmas coming up. There's gonna be New Year's coming up. We have to take a break and refresh and come back and collect ourselves and all that good stuff. But we love doing the retro reviews. We love going back in time and seeing how wrestling has evolved all of these years up until now. And so, yeah, any kind of feedback is appreciated. Of course, Slick Vic over there with his crystal ball, we're going to be looking at it here in about a week and a half or so. We're going to be seeing how he fared. It doesn't count how I fared. Let me just reiterate. It doesn't count how I fared. It's all about Slick Vic. But I will tell you that the next time that we come back to you, we're going to be reviewing Survivor Series 2025. The gigawatt scale is going to make its comeback. I did say on last week's episode, maybe even the week before, that I'm going to be saving the gigawatt scale for the PLEs, the big events, the events that, Slick Vic does his picks for. That's what I'm going to be doing the gigawatts for. It's not really fair to do them for Raw and SmackDown. I've learned that thus far. So, next time we reconvened, make sure you tune in, because there's going to be some ratings, there's going to be some picks, there's going to be a lot of things going on. And I can't wait. I personally can't wait. But, in the meantime, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your family. Spend time with your family. It doesn't matter who your family is. If it's your actual family, if it's just your friends that you have close to you, spend time with them. It makes a difference. You might not think that it does, but it does. It makes a huge difference to spend time with your family, your friends, everybody that cares about you. Godzilla, Slick Vic, everybody included. Slick Vic, do you have anything to say to the people before we pile out of here? And put him right up to the microphone. We want to hear him. No, that didn't work out so well.
Must be some noise canceling.
Yeah, there's something going on there. We can't get the we can't get the fucking
We can't get the full effect.
You know what? I'll get you some full effect here. Well, what do you want, Slick Vic? Well, we got Lex Luger, we got all right.
I mean, that'll do for Godzilla.
No, that won't do good enough. Let's find something else for the people. For the people, Slick Vic. We've already played the Fortune Teller. We've got No Hulkamaniacs. Yeah, Chant. Mr. Perfect. All right, what about?
Woo?
Oh, you want a woo?
Godzilla can get a woo.
All right, well, yeah, I like a woo. I like a good woo.
Woo!
Woo! Woo! Everybody enjoy your Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. One of the best holidays there is. Slick Vic, in closing.
Happy early Thanksgiving. I am thankful for all the listeners, and I'm thankful for you, Mr. Mosley. So happy early Thanksgiving. Hope you all enjoy. Have a good time, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
And stay powerful, everybody. And remember to eat lots of turkey and ham and stuffing and all that good stuff for me, because I know I'm going to. And we'll reconvene Ooh, yeah. Turn to the spice.
That beefy, juicy turkey.
Art thou bored? Goodbye, everybody. Have a good one.